All right. Get some streams on the way. Play. You know what? Screw it. Let's play Dr. Brights. What could be so bad about that? All right. Play this for a bit. Chill out. Then a good way through, I'll probably change it up.
Is your name John too?
Sure. I'm gonna quickly move my.
I had to kill myself.
What, like,
I
I'm not
have a
even saying
generic
John. I mean, literally, is your name
Alright.
John 2? John 2? The second?
No. What? No.
That
I'm
fucking
just- I'm
bastard.
trolling-
Oh my god, it is.
Trolling you, bro. I'm just trolling.
No, dude. My name is Harrison Ryan.
Dude, he's right behind you. He's right behind you. My name is Hitler.
That's not a name.
Oh, that's a cool
My name is Harrison Ryan John. 100%.
I am the Grand Wizard.
Grand
Man.
Wizard Man, war leader of the Ku
Klux
Klux Klan. Why shoots and pointy hats? I'm not saying the rest of the song.
Dude, why is everybody named Hitler so involved with population control, though?
I wonder. I genuinely want.
There we go.
My name is literally banned, buddy.
What?
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to name anyone Hitler or Adolf. Or in certain areas.
Yeah, they're just gonna get bullied.
No, I literally don't think you're like allowed to. Allow it.
Well,
Okay.
what
Imagine you're in school
Yeah.
and then
I'm
someone
pretty
changed
sure
their name to Hitler.
can't, though. I'm pretty sure.
teacher,
Yeah, watch me.
Yeah, like I don't think you can. What?
Wait, what are you
I'm gonna do that shit. I don't care.
When the teacher asks if I have any sexual name I like to go by, so I say, yeah, call me Adolf.
Man, they get the
Oh,
fucking
good
shit.
lord.
My name is
Oh, good
I'm
lord.
not even gonna name mine. I'm gonna adopt a kid and change his name forcefully.
I was gonna mute him. Just gonna mute him for now. So really, I just want to chill out for a bit, play some SCP, have some fun. Nothing super special. Whew.
It's not insane, dude.
Normal combo. You want to fuck your adopted daughter.
This shit is crazy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. There was a
I
good
love
reason
it.
I
I
had them
love the
muted.
normal combo.
Oh,
YOLO
good
Bell.
lord.
I join you guys? How do I join you guys? I'm
Oh.
not a woman. Fuck you.
Hey.
Did I get nervous, guys? I start stuttering and shit.
Yes,
How do I
yeah,
fix
for
it?
having a-
No, I'm not detecting any estrogen, just pure testosterone. We all have testosterone here.
What the fuck is the method, bro? Chat GPT.
I don't know,
That's
mine's
still a chill.
bro. I'm not a chill.
Wait,
Wait, this guy is a. What the?
wait.
Yo.
Who the fuck is that?
Who let a kid in here?
Somebody get a
fucking-
Skyrim follower, bro?
Dude, this is a manlet.
What the fuck?
That's what y'all look like, little bros.
Dude, somebody literally has a fucking Skyrim follower.
Yo, okay, never mind. I take it back. I'm blessed I'm not as small as that, bro. How the fuck you get that small?
Alright, who nutted, bro? Come on.
Dude, I
That
put
was
like,
me.
I literally slept like 3 hours and I couldn't fucking sleep. I work at 6 a.m. and I'm just like, fuck it, bro.
Bro,
We
stop-
ball out,
Dude,
you know?
I love
Who
the
needs to
internet.
sleep?
I love
Wait, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, what should I say? Wait, hold on. I got a soundboard. Hold on, let's find it.
Oh my god.
And this is to go.
The to Chaos and
Good
Insurgency,
lord.
I didn't know it was gonna be like this.
Dude, that's what it's like becoming a Jew. I mean, yeah, that's what
Holy shit.
MTF, shoot him.
Yeah, what he says. Yeah. Something wrong here. There's an asshole over here.
right.
You know what color you are, boy?
Oh my. Oh.
Dog's dead. You guys know that?
Oh, he's dead now.
Dog's dead. That's crazy.
That guy is black.
What are we chasing?
We're chasing Larry.
I saw a black guy. Yo, computer, you're a chud. Open the door.
Nope.
Yeah.
Acquired 7 additional hostile forces. Defense model updated.
Damn.
Ni hao.
Damn. I don't know what the fuck's going on. What the fuck's going on?
PM and I woke up.
Do you know what? I like your name. It remembers me too.
Spheres.
I don't wanna hurt you.
Oh my god.
Facility. Scan complete. Detected
What are y'all gonna do about that? Y'all gonna shoot Peanut or what's
Get him.
insurgency. 4. Received
Oh yeah, that's 035. So the mask, but not the mask.
1 out of 3 generators activated.
What's dead chat looking like?
Generators activated.
Oh, it's blissfully silent.
3 out of 3 generators activated. All generators have been successfully engaged.
Damn.
Contained successfully by Chaos Insurgency.
Oh yeah, Peanut's down. Peanut's down.
Successfully by Chaos Insurgency.
Oh, we're getting shot at.
Other people where I'd laugh every time.
Holy. Dude, that's like what it's like being looking at like a mad. Oh, found me.
We
One,
had
two.
this
Oh,
retarded dude come to my work the other day, and I had to walk.
Yo,
You know what?
What do you think?
You know what? You know what? Uh, I think that one game was enough. It's like, you know what? Maybe I'll try out Talk to Brights. Zircon isn't up like normal, so I'll just do Bright instead. No. That did not go as planned. So instead, I'm just gonna skip ahead to my plan for a bit. For my other plan. Uh, Give me 1 second to switch over. It's gonna take a minute for everything to load. Alright. Do that. Alright. Alright, just need to make sure I get this all set up right. It's like I thought, like, you know what? Maybe some late night SCP would be fun. Then there's a reason why I really only play Zircon. There's a really good reason, actually. Everything else is crazy nonsense with people. That's the best way to describe it. Crazy nonsense with people. Hmm. So instead, I'm going with the secondary plan. We play Minecraft till we die. I think it'll be fun, though. Play Minecraft for who knows how long. Just need to actually wait for it to load, though. That part's gonna take the longest. I guess in the meantime, I'm gonna switch some things around. Gonna move this over here. Alright, then I just gonna stretch it out. There we go. Do that. Then this, I'm gonna move. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alright, Minecraft's loading. That's good. Just take a second, and that is fine. Connection lost. I know, I know. I like to do that first time joining in. It's like connection lost. Oh, second time. There we go. It's better now. Alright. See, this I'm gonna move over. That. Properties. Need to make sure I got it right. Don't mind me just messing around with it, trying to get it equal. Probably the best I'm gonna get. Oh, unless... Can I just... If I do that... Alright, that seems right. Alright, first part done. First part done. We're so good. Oh, he caught a shiny Zoodle. That's cool. Then I just do this. Alright, alright, alright. I think this looks about right. See, I'm trying to test and see if it does. And I think so. Alright. I think I got it all. If I don't, then oops. I'm gonna look over just to make sure. Does that look about right? I think it does. No, if it looks wrong, y'all can tell me. Alright, in that case, close that. Open up that one. Close that. Oh, look at me being so productive. By productive, I mean making sure everything is not going to go to shit. Alright. Alright, looking. Seems like everything's fine. Looks about right. Alright. Should all be good. All be good. Now that I got that all set up, move that back a little bit. I can open up this. Press play.
Spoiler warning for Borderlands 3, basic game design concepts, and Mario. And Deltarune, I guess.
Get that
2D platformers were some of the
Open.
most popular titles of the early gaming era. One of the
All
reasons
right.
was that they were just so simple to pick up and play at a glance. The ultimate goal is moving your little guy to the right until you make it to the end. They give you the buttons to move in any other two-dimensional direction, but you always know where to go and you can always see everything around you. If I sat my mom down in front of Super Mario World and handed her a controller, she would instinctively
All right,
look
there we go.
right after spending a minute or two figuring out what the buttons do. Everyone was happy jumping over barrels, legally distinct animals, or dudes throwing tools. But John Video Game got bored and decided we had to shift the perspective. Enter the third dimension. It enabled games to have so many more features and ways to visualize your surroundings. The player gets all these new things to look at, but it also gives them the option to look anywhere else. And that means the players of your 3D game will inevitably be stupid enough to not see whatever.
I need to put stuff away.
How do you solve a problem?
I need to get started on
Sure, the
that.
player's
Put
going to
stuff
look around
away.
eventually, so you want your desired objects or places to stand out. How do you make things stand out? By creating contrast. You make an important area light up a little more, have your desired object be distinct from its surroundings, or use a bright and eye-catching color to direct your player's gaze. Over time, games got more modern and players relied more on UI elements like quest markers and compasses to navigate any given level. That doesn't mean the visual markers went away though. They rather got pushed into the background but still remain in a level designer's toolbox. As it is very bright and eye-catching, yellow paint remains one of those tools that
So
has
open
gotten
this.
a lot more use in recent years. Mainly to show players ledges or ladders.
Ooh,
that they
Machop.
have to climb.
Ooh.
Presumably because a lot of game testers ended up
Right
using it.
on.
It looked kinda ugly and unnatural though, because just splashing yellow paint at a cliff face
Is that
ends up
it?
being pretty immersion breaking. So a lot of hardcore gamers made a big
Oh,
deal about it.
probably
and
will.
The whole yellow paint thing ended up falling out of favor. So why am I talking
Okay.
about a failed game design concept in a Deltarune video? Well, Toby Fox looked at the yellow paint trend and said, actually, my game has like a million things to explore and I need a way to communicate to my players how to progress. So he went over to Randy Pitchford's shed, stole some of his paint buckets and very deliberately painted it over a bunch of words to help you, the player, out in navigating Deltarune. Great video everyone, let's go hit the showers, great performance out there, we solved another mission, let's go.
Oh, perfect. Perfect into the
Way
theory.
more complicated than that. Okay, rebuild the showers and get back in here, because we got a lot of text boxes to look at, to figure out what the yellow text actually means.
Actually, I'm going to take the healing
Toby
items
Fox
out.
has this knack for writing mechanics in this game that are at first completely innocuous, then become impossibly
Throw
cryptic,
those in
and
here.
after unraveling everything in painstaking details, slowly start to make sense. Deltarune's yellow text is no different from that, so that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. My obsession with yellow text started out probably over a year ago when I was bored and looked
Pokeballs can go in this one.
for the 4th or 5th time. You know, normal stuff. I remember seeing all these differently colored words and not entirely knowing what they were about. Even searching it up
Just
didn't
put the
get any
apricots in there as
satisfying
well.
answers, so I thought, why don't I try to find an answer and write them all down in the process? It wasn't something that was properly documented anywhere else. Yes, the dialogue dump shows yellow text, and I did use it to make sure I didn't miss anything, but you can't search yellow text specifically. So there I went making a big ass list, hoping to maybe glean some fun implications from it, and boy was it interesting. But before I get to that, we should maybe take a look at yellow text in Undertale first. It does kind of use the yellow paint mechanic I just described, but only in very few places. Like in this scene when you don't hit Monster Kid right away after slipping, or when Papyrus is trying to help you solve a puzzle. Undertale also just uses it for yellow things like Flowey, and in a more abstract way matters between Metaton and the soul. Yellow text does also show up more connected to Undertale's core narrative, like when it's referencing Asgore, or being closely connected to determination, connecting it to the yellow save spots. The game directly spells it out at one point, but Sans also uses yellow text when referring to your special reload powers caused by determination. There's also, please don't make me seriously consider this abomination. All in all, Undertale yellow text gives significance to a few core narrative mechanics and lets the player make some connections between them. There's too few instances for it to really amount to anything other than some supportive pieces for the story though. But there are 2 more yellow happenings that actually matter a lot more to this video. The 2 instances of Deltarune foreshadowing that Undertale has. One of them literally just being the word Deltarune. The other one being the patched-in introduction to Susie, very clearly setting up yellow text as having more significance in Deltarune. So what exactly is up with Deltarune's yellow text? Yes, it is supposed to guide the player, but there are so many outliers and sometimes nonsensical inclusions that I don't believe it is just yellow paint-coded text. Like, why does Lancer keep calling us clowns in yellow text? Why is he doing it in 3 different variations? That's not helping me progress the game whatsoever. Nor is having a butler cafe. And then there's Starwalker. This fucking guy is literally a walking joke about yellow text. It feels like Toby stopped getting in his head about the whole thing and needed to let off steam by writing about piss in bright yellow text. All that to say, back then I had all
You
of these
go
yellow
in
words rolling away in
here.
a text document on my desktop and not much of an idea what to do with it. And then chapters 3 and 4 released.
Check those out. Oh. And you. Anything else I need to check out? No? Okay.
In terms of yellow text, there actually weren't too many grand reveals in comparison to the last two chapters, except for one
Is that-
particular scene. This conversation between Susie and Noel has unhinged amounts of yellow text, and I highly doubt it's just because Toby got bored writing the dialogue and turned on the AI TikTok captioning instead. Not to mention Chris straight up reacting to only text boxes with the funny color in them. This alone established yellow text as something that Toby is using very consciously and kinda reactivated me to see what exactly we can find out about it at this point in time. So now that I'm 100% sure the yellow text is actually meaningful, I can lay out all of the relevant pieces of dialogue and see if there's some rules or patterns to figure out about them. And for that we need to look at a text box. No, not that one. The text box diagram. This is close to every instance of yellow text in the game, only excluding what are pretty much duplicates due to repeated text with the same implication. On the horizontal axis they are ordered from how yellow paint coded they are to, well, this is pretty much what we're trying to figure out in the video. On the vertical axis we get the narrative importance of the character whom the text box belongs to.
There we go.
This doesn't directly translate to how
Alright.
important the text box itself is though. Boxes on the bottom end of the chart can still have big implications for the meaning of yellow text. It's just about the character who set them. Except for Starwalker. I swear to god, if Starwalker actually ends up having narrative importance, I'm going to freak out. So before we go over the diagram, let's put down some observational ground rules. Statements about yellow text that are 100% true right now, and will likely get shadowed by Toby.
I'm definitely not looking through OBS,
Yellow text does
fixing
not
some
appear
things
in
right now.
segments, disconnecting
Definitely not at all.
even further from Undertales. Yellow text will never appear after a choice event, meaning you can't lock yourself out of yellow text. That doesn't mean you can't miss it though.
Alright,
The majority of
there
yellow
we
text
go.
comes from dialogue that is pretty central to the narrative. There's a bunch that requires you to talk to optional NPCs or interact with objects that can be out of the way. Yellow text doesn't appear in battle-specific speech bubbles. You know, the ones that appear right before enemies do their attack. There is an exception, however. Spamton exclaims himself to be a big shot in red text during our first encounter with him for some reason. Finally, doing the weird road unlocks no new yellow dialogue. All of the text that gets changed as a result of it stays plain. Do these matter for interpreting yellow text itself? On their own, not really, but it gives some context on how yellow text gets used, so it might help once it gets a little more complicated. Actually, moving on to the diagram, we can see a lot of the yellow paint coded hints on the left side. They are
What?
essentially diegetic directions or hints from
Be
the
so
input
I'm
character.
so lost
The yellow
listening
text
to
sets
this.
it apart to the player, sort of
It's
saying,
like
this is where you go to progress. I don't think yellow text directly translates to a different speech pattern or sound that everybody notices, but Chris definitely knows when a word is highlighted in yellow, making it another diegetic mechanic in Deltarune.
because this just like
Something.
yellow text is
We'll get to that in more
important,
detail
but
later.
longer.
And yes, there are plenty of directions that are given without using yellow.
I think it
Just
is.
a little
I think that's what this
interpretation,
video
but
is just
as
saying.
far
Like,
as I can
yellow
see,
text
yellow
is
text
really
the
important
ideas
and kind of a
other
joke.
places to explore, ironically turning it into a more of a don't go there yet sign for all the lore goblins trying to get their grubby hands on every possible dialogue in the game. I'm also counting other color types of text as yellow text here. They are usually recolored for flavor. Gauss's book and the donation waterfall are pretty straightforward examples for that. Except for red
Yellow text isn't always yellow. We learned it now today, folks. Yellow text isn't always yellow.
Entirely excluded here. I think this one's purely for emphasis and pizzazz, or some other cheeky references. Mainly because we do have one instance of him using yellow text independently of it. The further we get to the right of the diagram, the harder it gets to justify yellow text being a guide to the player. But to find out what it is instead, I made these text box sub-boxes to categorize and group up yellow text with similar intent or context. Going through all of them should give us a better idea of what yellow text wants to communicate when it isn't vigorously backseating us. Starting off with the item narration box, this one's real simple. Menu interactions usually get highlighted in yellow text. Both the item that you get and where it goes in your inventory are yellowified. Fun fact, Toby only coined the term money hole in chapter 2, before that the game would just refuse to tell you where the money went. Sometimes items don't get highlighted like the Saber 10 and I have absolutely no idea why. Maybe someone else can spin up a theory for that. Battle narration is also straightforward. It usually just tells you the quirk of a given fight. Spamton wants to make a deal, don't give him your money. Loosening the crown progresses the fight. Susie learned the S action. Use Unleash to annihilate the incomprehensible monster born from the depths of darkness. so far we haven't seen it go beyond tooltip level, but I would
That
be
is
surprised if
that.
it
Yeah,
does
that's the
anything.
Guardian fight. Yep, that's the
Over
Guardian
here we
fight.
got what I lovingly call home tone metagaming. It's straight up the narrative
Or
telling
well,
you
the
if
Titan
this is
fight.
something worth experiencing,
The song's
or
Guardian.
preventing you from skipping a large chunk of the game.
You know what I mean.
Like letting
You know what I
sneak
mean.
through the perceptions of each chapter, or Clamguy telling you how to get the Onion Sun quest line started. My favorite example of it though is Toby practically begging you through the screen to not toss away your entire inventory. He still lets you do it, of course. Can't recommend. You obviously keep your key
Felt
items, but
bitter.
everything
Oh.
else is gone. A little further down is Rawlsay's tutorial. It seems to set up a lot of ground rules for colored text. Yellow is for sparing, blue is for pacifying tired enemies, and interestingly, Rawlsay connects the color red to Chris's soul. He does specifically say your soul when addressing them. It's questionable if that is because he's trying to hide the soul's true nature, or if he just means the soul belonging to Chris. Either way, this kinda sets up red text as something connected to Chris and the soul. The rest of this is just Rawlsay explaining game mechanics and referring to the battle UI, although it is noteworthy that he harps on the word fighting quite a bit. You would expect Charm to be filled with cryptic yellow text because of this whole situation where he knows that you know that he knows that this is all a fucked up game, but he just keeps quiet about it. Instead, he only wants you to fight Jebel, giving a bunch of hints on how to find the key pieces and then combine them. However, Charm does provide us with the first mention of the Knight, who only gets red text this one time. I think it's just to set the Knight up as a dangerous enemy, so you pay more attention to anything related to
Yeah.
the future. The church is more hometown metagaming. You're pretty
makes
much being
sense.
directed towards Noel and Alfie's through the yellow
So
text.
first, finally
Frankly,
get
the
Cole
most
at
yellow
Y20.
shit in the game as of now, and I don't think that 25% red text counts as actual red text. Just some fun flavoring. Next up is Tanner's TV time. Most of the yellow text here has to do with inventory related interactions. Picking anything up and transporting
Okay.
it into your sidebar marks that item as yellow text, which is par for the course at this point. It gets a little more complicated though, as we're playing a game within an imaginary world of the game that we are playing. Then again, who knows if that matters to the whole yellow text question. The sword rod also has a bunch of yellow text, notably colored differently. Keep that in mind.
You know, this guy's definitely looking way too far into the yellow text, but it's pretty. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
Seriously, I have found nothing substantial relating to the Tropic of Love. Is it just kind of a pride thing? Why are the letters yellow then? Does this no copyright song have anything to do with it? Because that's the only thing I can find when googling it. I bet it's pretty cool, Tanner, but why the hell is the text yellow? You can make stupid jokes, Toby, but the second you're spilling lemonade over the words, I will
Hello?
analyze them. Things are starting to heat up a bit with Rawlsay's prophecy. He recounts it with so many yellow words sprinkled in that I can't in good conscience call them player guidance anymore. There's a few pieces that essentially tell you to go east and
there we
to
go.
the fountain, but words like Delta Warriors or Prophecy don't mean much at the moment. This section is probably one that has tripped me up the most so far, especially because it's right at the start of the game. I think the idea here is to get the player familiarized with some of the grander concepts in Deltarune, and also do a bunch of foreshadowing. To some events in Chapter 4, for example, and likely more endgame happenings. Bringing us right to the stool form dialogue. Yeah, this one's puzzling, but I think it's supposed to be some short-term foreshadowing. Dancer showing off his special form in Chapter 1, Susie and Rawlsay then learning their own forms for all three to combine into a greater sum of their parts. That leads to them learning how to use Axe on their own against Sweet Captain Cakes, and finally the great payoff in the Mecha Queen fight. So based on these two boxes, we can make an assumption that yellow text likes foreshadowing things or setting up events in the future. In a way,
Okay.
this is still Toby trying to drill important plot details into our subconscious without us really noticing. Moving on to Gerson, who keeps things really simple with his little book puzzle and a bunch of directions within the Dark World. At this point you might have noticed that the secret bosses haven't been very involved in the whole yellow text business. Jebel is completely blank, Spamton only has battle narration, the Knight doesn't seem to be a fan of text boxes at all, Gerson only has yellow text because he's doubling as your main guide NPC through Chapter 4. Even other characters connected to the freedom theme like Ram don't do yellow text. Okay, let's get this guy over with. Star Walker has to be the stupidest bit a game developer has ever committed to. fully
I don't know. I love Star Walker. Star Walker is cool. He's just a cool guy.
Any relevance to Deltarune's story. The fact that you have to unlock him in the first place by backtracking in a specific room in Chapter 1 is crazy enough. I know we're also brain-rotted that this doesn't seem like a big deal, but having a character that obscure actually do anything significant would be extremely unhinged. Next, the egg rooms. Even though only
I
one
mean,
of the 4 egg rooms has yellow text,
Gaster
all
exists,
work together.
so
Now, the yellow
I wouldn't
text
put it
could
past
be there
Toby.
because we're operating within the
Star
same
Walker is the
hype
actual
but there
Gaster.
isn't an intermediate inventory for the egg to go in this time. I don't want to pull the Toby makes no mistakes card here, but this yellow text still feels very deliberate. It's the first time an egg room isn't just one empty tree. This one in particular has a lot of Chris lore to it, and the Eggman spiel gets a lot more elaborate. It's almost like yellow text is very connected to Chris. Let's mark off some extra text boxes floating around real quick. A lot of them are directions or little hints from NPCs like the
let's
Rubin,
see.
essentially giving us the solution for the Clover fight.
How much I got
It's
so
not calling
far?
us clouds
34 iron?
repeatedly, is
Okay,
very
we're getting
clear.
there.
As the chapter goes on, the world kind of transitions out of
I,
being
right now I
yellow
just want to
text
get enough
into
iron to
getting
make like a
shading that you
PC
hope
field
to charge
to
with.
try and
The
spawn
balance back to
Porygons
text boxes
in.
is also noteworthy because other instances of getting a title aren't highlighted in yellow, but there is a world where that could be a mistake. Okay, I've stalled you out long enough. Let's get to this monstrous scene and figure out why the hell Toby was playing piss paintball all over it. First of all, the red text. Again, connected to the soul because they're in this room by
Why was he
chasing the soul in the
putting
first place.
piss
Easy,
paint
no
all
for the yellow text. I'm
Oh
sure you're
my
asking whether I
god.
can arrange all of the yellow words into a code that translates into a cipher, which we then run through a base 64 decoder, giving us a link to a hidden website, of which you have to find the 2015 internet archived version, that then gives you a contrast value to apply to the original website, revealing a quarter of a hidden Gaster code, and if you speak that Gaster code into Mike the microphone, you unlock the Schminkus ending, where the knight kinda just becomes a chill dude, and everyone moves on living the happy life forever and ever. No, I don't think there's any of that. I tried to arrange the words a bit, but I found no sensible patterns or connections between them. But that doesn't mean we can't gather anything from the words. Rather, let's look at the context of each text box. First of all, Chris specifically reacts to the text boxes with yellow in them. I'm sure a lot of you noticed that already. But topically, all of the text boxes are also connected to Chris in some way. Sometimes indirectly, but every time Susie or Noel talk about Chris doing something, there is guaranteed yellow text somewhere in the text box. There is a section in the conversation where Susie talks about the made-up Rousey boy from another school and how she wants to include him, which is the one time no yellow text shows up for a while, somewhat confirming that entire idea. Das's room is also the only time Chris hears yellow text while having full agency over their body. They can definitely tell when it is spoken and visibly react to it. While they are possessed by the soul, we don't get to see these reactions, most likely because we are the ones in control.
Yeah.
So from all that we can conclude our final rule for yellow text. Chris is involved, in some way. Even in the hint type yellow text pieces, Chris is the one being addressed, sometimes directly, sometimes through them towards the player, giving us just enough information to draw a somewhat solid conclusion. Before I properly define what the yellow text means, let's go back to the red one. It is definitely related to the soul, that's a no-brainer, but Chris is connected to it just as much. Ralsei sets it up as Chris's soul in the tutorial. Chris specifically was the one who slashed the tires. Meanwhile, Noel's red text refers exclusively to the soul. Even Spamton's mentions are kinda vague, and it's questionable how much he exactly knows about the soul. So when Carol hits us with the big red U, it's not 100% clear that she's talking right through Chris. And it does kinda change
Hello,
how much
friend.
she knows. Is she only aware that Chris has a thing in them that has very unique powers, or does she straight up know that she's in a video game and is intentionally talking to the player? Also, did Carol use the red text on purpose, or is that Toby just enhancing it for us to make it stand out like he presumably has so far? I don't think we can answer right now how Gaster pilled Carol or the Knight are, especially not based on these 6 text boxes. Anyways, this video is about yellow text, not red text.
How
As
Gaster
always,
pilled
trying to figure out
Carol,
which
then-
one is complicated riddle
Okay.
just ends up leaving us with more
Okay.
questions. Let's recap what we know about yellow text. It is related to Chris, and it has been used to foreshadow events. Okay, it's not much, but it's enough to work with for me. Next, let's look at what major storylines Skeljun has going on right now. We have the Chris vs. Soul freedom narrative, the Dark World, Light World, Roaring Night plotline, and finally the hometown family death disappearance mystery. So far, these narratives have all been pretty segmented in how they're built up and foreshadowed, as we've only just hit the halfway point of the game, which means we should be able to assign yellow text to at least one of these topics. So yellow text doesn't really appear in dialogue relating to Chris's qualms about possession. Secret bosses like Spamton or Javel don't really touch it, nor do other side characters connected to the freedom topic like Ram or Sean. But it does show up in another context that I haven't discussed at all yet. Every time we make a choice on something Chris does, or rather should be doing, it is highlighted in yellow before we confirm it. So when you select a choicer, you end up directly exerting control over Chris. It's really hard for us to tell because of the nature of the game, but some unknown entity taking over your body can feel good. I'd imagine these choices are more enhanced versions of us taking over and forcing specific actions.
I'm gonna...
So when Susie and Noel recall that kind of feeling through the yellow words in Des's room, however they're doing that, it's kind of understandable that Chris gets started. That being said, I don't believe it explains everything on the diagram. Let's see if we can find connections to yellow text in other plotlines. In terms of Dark World main story elements, we've got Rousey's prophecy, which admittedly still trips me up a bit. Beyond that, the main bosses that have talked about the night leading up to the grand reveal were lacking any tinted letters. Queen has 0 yellow text boxes, King only has an unused
I think
one,
that makes it a little bit
presumably happens
better.
if you finish chapter 1 violently, and Tenna has 1 text box that is intriguing but very unlikely to connect to the night. If anything, the prophecy seems to tie into a different subplot that centers around defying fate and breaking the prophecy, a narrative that chapter 4 recently pushed into the foreground.
Oh.
I would say the anti-fate
Oh,
stuff
that's
is
it
more
for my
tied to Susie's
pickaxes.
character progression though. So
Up I
based on
go.
that, the lack of supporting text boxes for the Dark World plot makes me want to phase this one out too. Which leaves us with Chris's mysterious past connected to the entire hometown death incident. And wouldn't you know it, this one actually makes a lot of sense. Susie and Noel talking about the past connected to Chris, yellow text giving us segmented characterization of them, and the chapter 3 egg room being very Chris focused. Not to mention the shelter key. So here's the big moment. What exactly does it mean? The yellow text can exert control over Chris. Similar to how Toby is using it in the game to make you, the player, pay attention to certain things and complete specific objectives. Us using yellow text through the choices makes Chris complete certain actions in a less subtle manner.
Hey,
and I know what you're thinking. We control the soul controls Chris, choices are confirmed by selecting them as the soul, of course it's about control. But I'm also saying the non-choicer yellow text very much plays into that whole dynamic, and can foreshadow a hint at Chris-related events in the future. That being said, it's impossible to know how yellow text actually looks and sounds within the game, especially when spoken by characters that aren't intending to control Chris. I'd imagine it's only something that affects them, and because we are experiencing the world
probably not going to get two other people to sleep.
This part comes
realistically
through in the form
speaking.
of yellow text. The descriptions of a speakerphone kind of voice throughout the Weird Rod are probably the closest we'll get to that. Over the last 2 chapters we've seen Chris already try to break free from our control here and there, but it seems like the yellow text as a tool a la Would You Kindly from Bioshock is far from its full potential at this point. If anything, the Weird Rod showed how much further it can go. Now the problem is that it's so hard to determine what kind of yellow text conveys what kind of information. There's a very obvious distinction between Toby desperately begging you not to toss away all of your items, and Susie recounting Chris's flirting skills. But there's so much in between those extremes that it gets hard to figure out what yellow text fulfills what kind of purpose. Like, is a little house cleaning foreshadowing something? Or is it just meant to guide you up to the little house so that you don't miss the fake out battle gag with the swatchling? Is Susie talking about the cool axe just meant to get you on the path towards the secret boss? Or are axes in general more significant later on? Even Birdley's Lucky lines could just mean that Toby is preparing you for being alone with Rosie for a while. I hope you understand at this point why I've been haunted by yellow words for the last 2 years of my life. It's also multifaceted, and it feels like we're still missing some very crucial information to completely understand Deltarune's textual gold nuggets. All that aside, after about 20 minutes of very condensed literary analysis, we now have a solid interpretation of yellow text, and no matter how confident I am in it, I might as well use it to make some assumptions about Deltarune's narrative. That's the fun part after all. Let's do a blitz round figuring out all these little one-off text boxes, starting with Lance's clown comments, which may be connected to Chris being a prankster.
I'm going
something
to
that
involve
keeps
you.
coming up in different conversations, and based on what we know now, might be Chris's catch-all excuse for the not-so-great things they do while we are controlling them. Tenna only has this one instance of yellow text very early in chapter 3 in response to Susie, but I don't think he was addressing Susie anymore, rather asking Chris what they're doing. Specifically, watching them create a dark fountain right in front of the TV must have been a little mind-boggling. Not to mention it's one of the few things that
a little mind-boggling? Yeah, I can say that.
Trashy, whose name is Blue. We've only seen this blue tint connected to tired enemies so far. I guess that means everyone's tired of Trashy. Good one, Toby. The Butler Cafe. This seemed like one of the most nonsensical yellow text at first, but in the context of control, it becomes part of a few references to subservience that keep coming up a few times in yellow dialogue. Lackeys, house cleaning, or, you know, a butler. Moss being highlighted in green. Chris just likes eating weird stuff. Honestly, you didn't need to watch this video to figure out that the moss eating is characterization for Chris. While we're on that, only chapter 2 and 3's moss are highlighted in green. I don't know why, and at this point, I don't even know where to start with that. So
what? Wait, only
the
2 and 3?
dialogue also seems very out of place.
Why isn't the moss in?
Off into Susie and Rosie learning their own acts, giving them more autonomy and distancing Chris from their role as a leader of the group. Something that Rosie is worried about, as Chris already doesn't have much control over their life. The yellow text in Tenna's game also brings up Chris's memories playing video games with their brother. Tenna makes a few mentions of that throughout the entire chapter. Since Chris is the one who made the fountain this time, it's no surprise that the main
I'm gonna head
content
down
of
to the
is so
mesa.
closely tied to one of their favorite activities.
So then that's
the Bad Inspector line. This is
this
actually
direction?
one of the stronger connections to Deltarune's plot altogether. Chris obviously sleeps a lot.
Other way.
We don't really know whether it's just them staying up at night or some insomnia stuff. Or maybe they stay up at night because of the insomnia.
This way. Okay.
Either way, there's a lot of sleeping to the point where it's a diegetic mechanic to skip longer hometown sections. Then we have the whole Dark World dream thing. Noel and Birdley thinking they are dreaming. The musical dudes in the chapter 4 Dark Worlds asking whose dream this is.
This is somebody's farm.
Mentions of hopes and dreams both in Undertale and Deltarune. Suffice to say, sleeping and dreaming are one of the core concepts in Deltarune, and Chris is right in the middle of it, making sure everyone's beds are in tip-top shape. There's one more piece of red text about the locked cat flap in front of the cat.
I haven't actually looted these chests. I should. I'm gonna loot them.
The text box
Pokeball?
afterwards even
Good.
calls it useless information, so I'm
More
not gonna
balls?
be so bold
Great.
to dismiss it. Don't fuck me on this one,
String.
Toby. Right next to it is the Tropic
Oh.
of Love. Does it actually
Oh.
mean anything?
Oh, speaking of
Okay,
balls,
so
I
had a
should
whole
go grab
section
mine.
here about Chris's emotions being projected into the dark world, and while that might still be true, I don't think it lines up with the yellow text very much. It's rather
It's
about
like I
the
should
player
probably
going
get
out of
my
their way to
Pokeballs if
find
I'm
the
gonna
Tropic
head
in the
out.
first place.
Because I want to
Partially
try and head
referencing
out,
the machine
catch
we built
a
in chapter 1 kinda
Rufflet.
ties into the
Or a
same point,
Braviary.
as
Either
it
one
is
works.
something we do rather than giving
No matter
Chris
what, I
command
definitely
and
need more
happening on
balls.
screen. Before moving on from Tennis Game for good, I do want to mention the irony of Chris controlling a version of themselves while we're controlling them. At the end of the Sword Route, they even lose the little control that they think they have to us before the small Chris just walks off. Okay, you get the idea, but we've made it all the way to the top right corner and there's still this big empty space over here. It's almost like I forgot something. The goddamn Throne of the Gods. This unsuspecting little side room in Queen's Mansion is what started my 1 year long meltdown over fucking colored video game letters, and snowballed into this entire video. It is the only thing to interact with in this room, and while there are other rooms that just exist for one joke, none of them have yellow text in them. So
Shiny
what the hell
ingredients.
is up with this text box? Let me give you the full picture. The Throne of the Gods is a joke referring to a massive stack of chairs that fits the equally massive stack of tables. It's a childhood thing, I'm sure most of you know what it means. So where do we find a lot of chairs
chest.
stack up? At a school, maybe? Let's take a look
Emerald.
at Hometown School. There's only 3 rooms, and we've been in
Money
2 of
bag.
them plenty of times. So what if we
Oh my
check
god,
out
it says...
room number 3?
Why did I think...
And there it is.
Why did I
6
think
chairs
that said
stacked on top of
honey
each other
bag?
in Toriel's classroom.
Whoop,
The literal Throne of the Gods in the flesh, or plastic rather. We don't even have to make an assumption here, the narrator just says it. It almost feels
Cherish
like this little
balls?
extra room in
Okay.
Queen's Mansion was just made to
Money
reference this
bag.
exact stack of chairs, and connect Queen and King with each other through the royal water bottle behind the tables. But wait, there's more. One last yellow text box that I've conveniently hidden away until now.
Any
When you
more
go to the
chests
convenience
around
store
here?
in Chapter 2, Sans tells you to put stuff in a basket if you want to buy something, leading you to
That
an
doesn't look like
impossibly
it.
high stack of baskets that the narrator calls
Alright.
the Throne of Evils.
Oh,
Pretty much
no, there is
connecting
one.
them to the rest of the Throne fuckfest and finally completing our diagram with
Oh,
the
those are
addition of the
smoked
Throne
ones. I don't care
Spirits.
about smoked ones.
Also, what's with the apostrophes here? I don't
Dandelion
think
tea.
that's right. Anyways, it's not like Sans and Toriel have much to do with each other in Deltarune, right? Right? Let's go back to Toriel's classroom, because it actually changes quite a bit throughout the 3 instances that
This
you can
someone's
visit in
house, or is
chapter 1,
this-
2, and 4.
Oh,
Something
no,
that
it's a
doesn't
structure.
change and hasn't changed in a long time.
It might
is
still be
Toriel's
someone's
name
house,
written
but-
on the dry erase board. Notably,
Tried
Toriel
to
used
help.
the Mrs. title here, which is neutral in terms of determining marriage status. So this doesn't help us at all timeline-wise. I guess if you wanted to gamble on it, it'd be more likely to be after the divorce, but that doesn't
Lot of dried
get us
kelp.
anywhere. As for the things that did change, we can start with the desktop wallpapers on Toriel's computer. The first one is Chris and their brother dressed up for Halloween 8 years ago. Chapter 2's wallpaper
Oh.
is Chris and Azrael playing video games together, notably with Azrael
What
as
are
the older sibling using the knockoff.
Oh,
controller.
Patra.
The final
Patra in a
wallpaper on
boat.
Chapter 4 is the 2 siblings pictured with a snowman that they built. It has 2 branches coming out of the head resembling the ones of a deer. Based on the How to Draw Dragons book being lended out around 7 years ago, and it having
Oh,
been
shiny
used
pi-
in Dessa's
Caught a
room,
shiny
we
Pineco.
can
Good
conclude
for
that
them.
these pictures have been taken before her mysterious accident. In a similar manner, the deer snowman also means that the 2 families were much closer at the time. So the wallpapers seem to be Toriel not wanting to let go of the memories of both the Dreamers and holidays being close. It is her workplace after all. You'd presume she spends the majority of her time at least close to that computer. The food on Toriel's table seems to degrade in quality over time, at least according to the narrator. I think the
Alright.
students usually put fruit
We
on
keep
their teacher's
moving.
table. This is a trope that I'm not American enough to fully grasp, but it could indicate her stressing out or getting distracted over Chris being gone.
Let's see.
and
Wait,
acting
if I go
weirder than
straight
normal,
south from
meaning her
here...
teaching job is
Yeah,
suffering in
okay.
quality
Run
from
right
it.
into the Badlands.
Finally, the Throne of the Gods itself. It starts
Hi,
out
Nimble.
with 6 chairs in Chapter 1, then going up to 9 in Chapter 2 and 10 in Chapter 4. The table stack in Queen's Mansion also has 10 tables, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is where it stops growing. But why and how are the chairs increasing? The initial 6 chairs make a lot of sense. There's 6 tables in the room and they're probably in use when Toriel is teaching. But where are the new chairs coming from and who is putting them there? I've checked all of Hometown in all of the timelines and there are no plastic chairs of the same kind anywhere else. You know what room should have chairs of any kind? Alphys's classroom. Come on, I know this is probably America and you guys don't let your grocery store cashier sit down, but there's no way these kids can concentrate and learn while standing for 6 to 8 hours. So
I mean,
why
I
do
don't
they have
know.
chairs?
Have you
Is
seen
it
what they
because
want
making
kids to
picture
do?
of characters sitting down from behind is complicated and a lot of work? Yeah, probably, but I'm not letting Toby off the hook over that. There's this background focus on chairs that I can't quite let go. So here's my final theory about all the chair stuff. Chris had some kind
Alright,
of
is
incident or
there-
even accident relating to stacking up chairs too high.
Face when I stare
I'd
at the
even go as
minimap
far to say
looking
that it could have
for
been part of the moment that led to
the
Dess's
rufflet
disappearance.
spawn.
Toriel then removed chairs
It's
from
like
Chris's
rufflet's
classroom
gotta
in
spawn
overreaction
eventually.
to that incident. And where the chair's going? Well, there's a fourth room in the school that has been locked up for the entirety of our stay in Deltarune so far. It's seemingly unused, so I wouldn't be surprised if plenty of chairs are currently stored in that room among other things. That's also how the new chairs are getting to Toriel's classroom.
Like-
Chris and Susie aren't exactly in school as much as they're supposed to be, so it's easy to miss chairs being moved
There's
around.
too many Volleybes I
It sounds a
found.
little
Where's
strange
the
speaking that out loud,
rufflets?
but honestly,
Where's
a
the
classroom
rufflets?
without chairs is strange as fuck on its own, but I can't understand if that sounds too far-fetched. At the very least, I think some kind of chair stack called the Throne of the Gods is going to come back in a Dark World. Maybe to overcome an obstacle in some way. That seems to be what the original yellow text.
Throne of the Gods chair stack.
Oh,
Oh
right, this
god.
video is about yellow text. You know what also ties to the color yellow and chairs? Image trend. Not to mention the two colors relating to the shelter key in the sword route, recalling the same pink-yellow color scheme, which also gets carried by the secret bosses. Yeah, once we've made it to a scene as pivotal to Deltarune as the Death incident, all of our plotlines that are kind of doing their own thing right now are going to intertwine. If you dig deep enough, you can already kind of connect a few places where they intersect, like here, but it's very far from anything substantial, so I'm gonna stop putting shit out of my ass right now. Maybe there's enough to make a part 2 out of this once another chapter is out. I left a lot of things open in this video that could eventually be answered, and according to Gerson, we'll learn more about pink and golden stuff in chapter 5.
Hello.
If you want to
Wanna
know more
cook
about Chris
something for
beyond
my
the yellow
stream?
text
What do you
connections,
mean?
You should check out these two videos by Nighthawk and Korantu. The latter one in particular had me kind of rewrite the second half of the video to shift the focus on Chris being controlled. It used to be a lot more about Chris's past and how they're being characterized by the yellow text. I still think that has a small part in how yellow text is presented, but the control aspect is definitely taking up a much larger part of it. Yellow text still seems to be a rather unexplored part of Deltarune, so I'd love to hear any other interpretations you guys have, or maybe some related nuggets of text that I've missed. I tried to find stuff to correlate to my maddening ramblings, but there were like 2 Reddit threads and some dude talking about Deltarune Yellow, which made me want to make this video even more. What I'm trying to say is, oh my god, please somebody talk about the fucking yellow text. I can't take it anymore. I'm 100% sure that it means a whole lot. Even if my interpretation turns out wrong, it'll pay off to something. And those
Yeah,
chairs
what do you
will
mean you
come.
want to cook something
That's
for
the
my
2
stream?
things I'm sure about. I guess this is where I plug some shit. There's a Patreon where I post videos early and some bonus stuff. You can subscribe too, that'd be cool. Videos will be more frequent than they have been so far, although I'm not gonna promise exclusively Deltarune stuff. The next video won't be, but it will be about a game that I think Deltarune Andes will enjoy. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Oh, rufflet. Rufflet. Gotta catch this quickly, gotta catch it. Come on, get in the cherish ball. Nope, get in the cherish ball. God damn it, you're making me not play the next video. No, I mean get in. Okay, why aren't you... There we go. Get in the cherish ball. Please and thank you. Bitch, now get in the citrine ball then. No, that doesn't mean get out. Come on. You can do it. It's not that hard. I promise it's not that hard. Thank you. Anyhow. We get the next video plan. Deltarune theory stuff was kind of fun. I'll be honest. It was kind of fun. How deadly are the Smash Assist trophies? Let's play that.
Fellas, did you know that there are 57 assist trophies in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? It's true, including the burrowing snack crit. It sounds scary, but it's not so bad. But there are all kinds of game characters from all over the gameverse. And so I wondered, as
Alright.
I often do,
Gotta
how many
full-
of those things
got
would
my
be
team.
lethal to me specifically. So today, we're gonna find out. I already saw how many final smashes would kill me, and that was a really fun video. So how many assist trophies will kill me? Surely
Am I going the right
Chef
way?
won't do it, will he? Let's find out together.
Where am
shall
I?
we? Also,
Okay, I'm
remember,
I'm
I
going
can
north. I'm
fight
going the
back.
right way.
Yes, I can fight these guys back and beat them up if I want. That's the thing. Final
Oh,
smashes,
sandstorm.
They've already started the final
Wait,
smash, and I'm
don't I
getting
have
hit
like
by their
return to
ultimate
waystone
ability.
thing?
The assist trophy,
I think I do. Where is it again?
We're on even playing field. They come out, and I'm right there. Let's look at all the assist trophies and see which ones would kill me. But you know what kills me the fastest? If you don't like and subscribe, I'll die.
Not there.
Right now. I'm going to die if you don't do it. I'm going to die, and it's going to be your fault. POV, you didn't like and subscribe. Hey! Did somebody say?
Yeah, sorry bots. I'm not doing that. No.
Without all the nonsense and hidden fees? This video is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Now you already
In fact,
know what Mint
let me
Mobile's
just
about. They're about
quickly-
what's fixing what's wrong in the wireless space. That means a premium service without all the nonsense, hidden fees, all that junk that comes with other wireless service providers. They're easy and online, and that means no stores, no salespeople, and no
Perfect.
silly stuff, man.
Banning a
They
bot.
Plans starting at just $15 a month, and they've got coverage everywhere.
It's like,
Mint is
no,
all about
nah.
premium wireless without the premium price tag. All plans include unlimited talk and text on the nation's
Hey, I mean,
largest
at
5G
least
network,
that bot
plus
kind of
free
got
calling to Mexico,
into
Canada,
it quickly.
and the UK. Plus, a hotspot is included with a 20 gigabyte hotspot on unlimited plans. Wow! And did I mention that they have coverage on the nation's largest 5G network?
Okay,
It's
Coney.
street coverage with the BYO everything wireless, so easy. All right, let's do it. This would never kill me. This is a delightful show. I get a performance from the two biggest stars in Splatoon world. Ears bleed. I like Splatoon music. I like the Splatoon music. Look at Marty mad as hell. I'm not at the edge of the screen. I would be in the center. I know I'm at the edge of the screen now, but I'm good. Yeah, no, this is, wow, this is fun.
I saw him for a
Perfect.
second.
What
Where
do
is
you
he?
mean more tiers? That's the first tier. That's one tier.
There you are.
Can't happen.
Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, I'm dead, right? That's a dragon, like a full-on. Might be able to dodge that.
Oh, wrong button.
Okay, he also has fire attack.
See if I can catch you.
All right.
I might be able to
all
trade you
right,
for
guys.
something.
I'll concede this one, I guess. He has a wind attack at the end. Wait, if I beat him, though, he
Come
becomes
on.
mine.
Come
Is that how it
on.
works? No, he's
Come
not.
on.
I was gonna say if I like parry an attack, but that's in this stage. Your ass is not taming Rathalos. I might.
Nope, wrong
I
button.
don't know. What do you have to do? Die quickly and painlessly. No, because the terror of watching him come would be very scary. Die a painful death. I knew, as I said, that it'd be bad.
Oh, chain jump kills you.
doesn't even eat
Chain jump kills you.
He just bites you, right? I can just run away. I could escape him. Depending on stage
No,
position. Likely
No
I'm
one's
okay,
surviving chain
but
jump.
I
No one's
could
surviving
die
chain jump. Like
if
that's
I'm
just not gonna happen.
prepared. Like if I wasn't ready, if he stuck up on me, if I was, you know, in a free for all. And I think the worst part is there's no way to hurt him. Does anything hurt a chain
Oh, come on.
Star? Star. I don't have a star power. Chain
Nope.
drop kills me. I think,
Okay.
depending on stage position.
I am hitting you.
Where I am
Thank
in
you.
the world or the level. There's some factors that kind of go.
Can I turn down that?
I might be able to catch those. Dead if I'm hit, right? But like he's throwing 4. I could catch 1. My question is, could I kill him? But he has a helmet on. I was gonna say, could I throw it back at him and give him brain trauma? But that's why he wears a helmet. In case he throws it up too high, I guess. Just move, bro. It's an arc. Yeah, but he jumps too, doesn't he?
All right, got a
Chances, though.
Crocolore.
It's very tricky, though.
That'll be good for trading.
Might die, might win. Depends on physical dexterity.
Let's see.
If I
That's
can
still
grab
north,
the
right?
hammer, throw it back at
Where
him.
am I?
There's a way I could get him. I think if I hit him in the stomach. it would
No,
work.
that's
I
not
think I
north.
could
This
kill
is
the hammer,
north.
bro. 'Cause they don't move.
Yes.
They just jump. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, if they... He has no attack here. Never mind. I kill him. I kill him with great... I step in, kill very easily. Never mind. No, dude. Because, look, he's a turtle, and I'm in his range. I just step in, and I punch him right in the fucking stomach. Which is his weak point. He doesn't have a shell there.
I mean, as long as you can dodge the hammers, I guess. I guess that's
I've
possible.
never seen him do it. I think I could do it. You just got to get past one hammer. I'm saying.
Thwomp. No.
How fast
No.
does it go? Does it move? God, did that do 46 damage?
That's fast. That's I don't know if you can move away that fast.
Wait, he
Especially
doesn't
since
even move.
I mean gamers don't look up. Gamers never look up. So like there's no getting out of that.
I think that'd be very easy for me to dodge his attacks.
No,
Also,
you have to
Thwomps
look
have,
up
like,
for
a
it.
very
Gamers don't look up.
predictable
We all
arc.
know
I
that.
think you could dodge only if you knew he was there already. Well, there's the understanding that like we're going into a fight, right? It's not like it's gonna be a surprise. I know where he is, and he knows, like, you know, we're showing up to Rumble or whatever. What if he was right outside your door? Okay, well, I would hopefully hear him. Does he have a? No, he doesn't have like a sound component. I would die if he was right outside my door. I would die. He's not scary. I'm gonna be so real with you, man. I'm not afraid of Waluigi. He has a weapon, a tennis racket.
Bit of lag
He's
for a
not even
second.
hitting me with it. Why is he holding the racket? Does he use the racket? He kind of did it. He did that, like with the handle. I've never seen him try to use
Shiny Weedle.
I think I would kill Waluigi. Because, like, he's very tall, but he's very lanky. He's very spindly. I don't think he's been in a lot of fights. He cheats, which is his gimmick, and I'm too smart to fall for that. I would catch him.
House is right there.
And I would turn it around on him. Wait, he's tier 6? Isn't tier 6 a country? He's not a continent. He cannot destroy a continent. When would he ever do that? He has huge bombs. Not here. Here he has a tennis racket. I would kill him. Likely evade, but I might get tired and die. This is like I could escape him for a while, but I don't know how long he's out.
All right.
I don't know if I could do it long enough. I don't know if he would kill me though. I don't know how hard he hits you.
We got
It
roughly-
doesn't matter. He's got very sharp. What sound effect would you make if a claptrap hit you? Oh, I wouldn't be that. I'm not that big. My sound effect would be ow. What does Skull Kid do? I feel like he's not that scary. He's just a child. A bunch of random effects, right? Random effects? Yeah. Okay.
Level
I would kill
29.
him easily. He would annoy me a bit. He would do his silly bullshit, and
Level
then I
30.
would, like, I don't know, he's a child. I could kill a child. I wouldn't do it. I don't like that. He's
31, 32,
I just
33.
die, right? Ah! This is we all die. That kills all of us.
When does Ref level up
I
again?
feel
Levels
like
up at
it'd be
some
funnier
point.
to put, I'd move. He's like,
I think it's a
"No,
late
I would get out of the
Evo.
way." Where? Just around. I would avoid. What does Midna do? Hair. Grab me? I would survive. Survive.
All the way up to 44 still hasn't
It
evolved.
wouldn't cause any lasting damage. It's just gonna
All right.
like make me a little dizzy and maybe give me some bruises. I would survive, but it would hurt. I'm not too tough to admit that. I'm dead, right? They'll like chop me up.
Oh, Girham, you're so dead. So dead. So dead against Girham.
Kunai powers or whatever. He has like knives he's throwing. Yeah, I would die. Die quickly without much pain. I think he would cut me down in an efficient, almost, clinical way. He would make it painful. I don't believe you. He looks like an elegant sort. I've never played the game. He likes torturing people. Oh, that wouldn't happen to me. I would make sure he kills me very fast.
Sure.
Just eat your life force, right? I'm super dead. Well, Samus made friends with one of them, but I'm not Samus. I didn't save their mom or whatever. Aren't the Metroids good guys though? I thought so, but I don't. Not all of them, I think. Okay, if I can act very quickly, if I can kick that over, if I could like get close to her and just knock it on its side or whatever. Like Chester A. Arthur.
That should be enough
Futurama.
leaves.
The glass would shatter, and then she would just spill out on the floor, right? That wouldn't be bad. If
Little
I act
lion guy,
quickly,
whatever his name is.
because if I knock it before it gets big, I think I'm okay. And I think there's going to be a few of these. Some of these like start small and then they get bigger. If I take immediate action. Yes, that's a good way to put it. If I take immediate action. Oh, he just makes it really dark, right? That's just in the dark. All right, sure. Get really scared. I'd be very scared. Does he do anything, or he just makes it dark? I think I could beat him up. It's Knuckle Joe. You're
Knuckle
dead.
Joe.
No, never mind. I was
No.
gonna say I feel like I'd be able to beat him because he's just like a kid punching you, but you got to scale everything up into Kirby terms because he's like a cosmic force or whatever. Yeah, and it would hurt a lot. He would be like bashing up my insides like a sandbag. This dude cracked planets. This dude cracks planets. Him.
I wouldn't put it past
Jeff
him.
Kawasaki
I
and
would
would be
not put it
friends.
past him.
Well, he's throwing frying pans, and then he puts you in the pot. I might win. If I take immediate action, I could kill him because he wouldn't get to the pot phase. If I can avoid the plates and the pans. Big ass spoon, you're not dodging the pot. Right, I wouldn't dodge the pot, but if I could kill him before he gets there, like he wouldn't get to that phase. I think he's made of flan. You don't like flan. That doesn't mean
Where
I also
should
don't
I
like
put
human
it?
flesh, but if I'm gonna fight with a guy and it's live or die, I'm biting that shit. It's me or him. I'm dead. You know
Damn.
what? I think we all die.
Oh,
actually.
what the-
He's
Hi,
gonna blow
Oddish.
up the planet. I'm not the only one getting hit. He's like he's doing it into the third dimension. I think the whole planet is getting raised by his attacks.
Try me.
Why does she sound like that? I'd die. I would die very fast. She would kill me. Steph is very powerful.
I have some dirt.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
seems like it.
patch
Die
up that
with a
little
boner. You
pond
would die
thing.
in a very sexy way. Can we talk about this character without bringing up the fact that she's naked? She has a very powerful staff from a far off land. I would die pretty fast. I think I would be frozen in ice. I'm dead. The guy with a big sword, I'm gonna get chopped up. It's really bad. You know what it is? I think this guy would kill me without much pain. This guy would not because he's clearly like a ruffian. He has no training on this sword. He doesn't know what he's doing. He is swinging that thing with reckless abandon. We might both die. He might stab himself. No, he's a samurai. Yeah, he would kill me, I think. It'd be really bad.
So this is core dirt. I don't want core dirt here actually.
Cosmic threat, he's an alien. I would die, but you know what? It'd be very fast. It would be very fast indeed. I would just be.
So let's get rid of the
very
coarse
quick.
dirt.
I would just be turned into atoms.
And replace it
Kids
with
keep
actual
killing
dirt.
Kids with otherworldly cosmic powers. This is one of the few times that I'm not gonna power scale myself up, cause like Ness is like psychic. Paula literally has powers. Jeff has like Batman gear, and Pooh has trained his whole life. I can't do that. I would kill Jeff. It's weird because I can't beat Starman, but I could
You
beat
killed.
Jeff.
Okay.
He's just a kid with a
Oh.
toy, very easily killed. Especially because he got glasses, probably a nerd. I probably hurt his feelings before that. That is a status effect in Earthbound. I make him cry. He can't see me.
Man got
His glasses in his
ripped
eyeballs, and
apart.
his glass in his eyes. Then I use the
The ghost had hands.
pointed at him.
Well, isn't it?
He's smarter than you. Barely. Kid
The
that
wha-
is smarter than me is only a little smarter than me because they don't know much about the world. They're just book smart. I might get Home Alone. He could Home Alone me and trick me into like setting myself on fire, but other than that, I think I would kill him.
Head hands.
Who is that? Tiki from Fire Emblem. Super dead. I was gonna say, like, if I act quickly, maybe I can kill her before she turns, but no, I think I'd die on fire. I would be immolated, and all of my flesh would
What
melt.
is that?
And my eyeballs will burst. Okay.
Which? Oh, it's a cast form.
Fast,
Hi, cast form.
right?
You're
She
chill,
just,
dude.
like- she just stabs me in the heart. That's fine. Yeah, that's very quick. No pain. I'd just maybe be cut in half, maybe be stabbed in the heart. Being stabbed in the heart would hurt. But I think that she would be efficient. I'd probably be decapitated. Probably
Alright.
dead. Right? Oh my god! Die quickly. Yeah, he just got chopped and died fast, man. He has an impenetrable magic armor and a sword made for killing God. This little baby pussy thing right here that kills God. Oh, I don't like that. She's annoying. She's flying, so I can't kill her. Yeah, she would go high. I wouldn't be able to catch her. I'm dead, and I think it would hurt a lot, too. It doesn't look like it would hurt that bad. Well, it doesn't look like it would kill that bad. Like, it's just the nature of my mortality and my physical being. Like, they're not taking a lot of damage, but that's fine. She just slows me down. Oh, now I'm invisible. Mustard gas? kill easily, but might die of a terminal illness in the near future. I feel like she's gonna like do something that's gonna fuck up with my immune system. Just kind of an unforeseen consequence of inhaling her purple gas or whatever this is.
What
I
the?
died. I'm dead. I'm actually dead. It's a giant.
Oh, that. Yeah, you're dead.
It came out of the ground.
You're dead.
And will peck my eyes out. He's gonna peck out my brain instantly. It's tiny. No, because we're not gonna do like we're doing this. Like he came out this size. Now, if I do grab his beak, then he is going to get hurt
I was
bad.
like, what is that?
But I don't
It's
think I can do
that
He's
like
too
weird
He's too
pepper
fast.
guy.
He would peck my brain out, I think. He doesn't have a tail. He's just neck. I can't pull him out, you know.
Hey, Slowpoke.
Kidnapped. Bro, he's gonna take me to an island. I'm going to the island, which is worse than death. Oh no.
Let's see, there's red. 2 for red.
Not Ricky Ticky.
Ricky. No, Ricky kills you. Ricky kills you.
Who the fuck is that guy's name? Is it just Ricky? Why do I always give him more names? Oh, because of Blushy Crushy. That's not Ricky. Is that not Ricky? Whatever, man. Whatever. I'm dead. I'm frozen. I'm frozen. It's freeze. I hate him, dude. I want to rip his ear off. Yeah, if he buffs me, I might be able to kill him. Might kill if I take immediate action. I'll say that. That really is like if I get buffed, you know? RNG based, yeah. That's fast.
All right.
I was gonna say this looks fun and I might have a good time like the concert, but no, it's too fast. I'm not fast enough for this. You can't even fight a pong board. Yeah, but it would go away eventually. I think move if I'm not prepared. If I don't see
Start
it
of the
coming,
apricot
if I'm
farm.
not fast enough, would the ball even kill you? Depends on where it hits me, right? In the eyeball, yes. In the arm, no. Right? I think I'd be okay. I think surviving it would hurt if I get hit at all.
I thought that was a Pokemon. It's like, what is that?
I'm dead.
It is,
It's
in
just
fact,
a guy
not a
shooting me
Pokemon.
with a gun. Probably a quick death, I think. He's a sheriff, so he's merciful. Probably just gonna shoot me in the head. Rare sheriff use case. There's something so funny to me. Like in the early days of Ultimate, the sheriff was
Just
so
like, that's a sheep.
funny.
That's a sheep.
Just him walking around, killing people with that slow gun. The music too. It's
What Pokemon
so
did they got in
good.
the boat there?
The devil. Yeah, he's just being an asshole, right? Like,
What is that?
he would recognize you as an acolyte. You are safe. Well, it depends on what my last run ended. How my last. Run ended.
Is that a
I think the
Cobblepus?
devil
I think
would
it
be
is.
fun.
Yeah, that's Cobblepus.
I think it wouldn't be so bad. I've been pretty scared actually, because it is the devil. It is the devil. I would be afraid. I would be scared actually. That's a very good.
Oh, the devil.
I
Oh,
I
God.
wonder why the devil was here.
You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Hyperactive. Oh my God, man! Fast death. I'd just be in pieces. I think probably a painful death. Yeah, he would chop me in a lot of pieces. Is this a move? That's a big city. I don't know. Despair at the price of real estate. Oh no, BlackRock! The rent! No!
Oh no, real estate.
Okay, so look at this.
All right.
He tried to kill him. I think I would do more damage than a Mr. Game & Watch bug spray. But then he did that. So it's not even like you could... I thought if I acted quickly, I could kill this dork. But...
Someone's a building on you. Nah.
A skyscraper underneath my feet. And I think I died. Without pain, though. It was just... Unless I die
All
from
right.
the fall.
Let's get
It would
5,
hurt.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I would be very tender for a little while. And I can't fight him back. Probably gonna break some
That'll be
bones,
enough.
I think. He might break bones or just, like, whip me real bad. But I don't think it would be that bad. Who is this again? Snake Boy? I'm killing him in anything. He's a kid that can turn into 2 small animals. He can't turn into, like, a tiger. I don't think I can fathom the nature of his attack.
Go get.
I can't even break
Yeah.
it apart. I can't even tell what he's doing. It's incomprehensible. You know what? I think I'd live. I think he would break a couple bones. Now that I'm looking at him, he's just doing like cartwheels and shit and throwing stuff. I think I would.
I keep pressing B. It's like I don't want to open my backpack right now. I just want to craft a shovel.
Ow! I think I would survive that. I could never.
That's
hurt
not a
him,
shovel.
But he would not kill me.
I'm stupid. That's a chisel. The fuck does a chisel do? I don't know what a chisel does. I am not. What the fuck is a chisel?
Abducted or crushed. All right, yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'll die in one way or another. I assume that if he lifts me really high, then I probably would get dropped from very high indeed too. So like he's gonna go all the way to the top, and I'm not gonna die to like a top blast zone, but I will fall very far. He's not taking me to the island. I think. Keep watching. Oh, there's more. Oh, he can let me go. Oh. Okay. Alright, so he can push me really far. That wouldn't kill me, but it'd be annoying.
Let's head down south.
You're not gonna like what I have to say. You are not gonna like it. I feel like this guy on the power scaling site is like a 2B. I feel like he is like a multiversal.
I don't want to go down to the desert.
Killed God, by the
Go
way.
down to
Yeah,
the desert,
exactly. I
get
feel
some
like this
sand,
guy,
so I can
he
set
has
up the.
defeated the depression demon that brings sadness to the world or something. He is 10C.
Ooh.
Wait, really? High 6C. That's so stupid. That's dumb. I would kill Starfy with gradients.
Set up PC
also,
stuff.
He's from the ocean.
For
he's
a Porygon.
Not in the ocean. He'd be very easy
Oh,
for me to rip
somebody's
apart.
got something. They got something going on here.
This one's not even trying to hurt me. Wait, I don't have to kill it. Wait, I forgot. We have a tier. We have a tier. Oh, thank God. Oh, my God. A secret tool that will help us later. Thank God. We're good. Numbers? Your brain age is too low and you die. I think I would survive and come away better than when I started. I think him and I would, he would challenge me, and it would be a fun exercise, and I would be refreshed for the day. I think that would be fun. I do. I think
You got red sand here, which that.
And I would learn about addition and
That's. I mean that. That's good
education,
enough.
right?
Or that's that's terracotta. That's not red sand. That's terracotta.
I'm a bird. Stop! You make me look stupid. Bro, if Sakurai was real, if he really cared about us and his job and doing a good job, he would make a caricature of every character in the game and have Vincent make.
Gotta keep going a little bit further. Little bit further.
Make the character look stupid. That would be way better. Yeah, somebody said lead paint poisoning. I feel like I would win, but I might die later. I might like that. All that.
Yeah.
Can't be good,
Yeah.
Right? What's her deal? She looks like a streamer. Oh, she's like drawing in the game.
Oh,
Like,
that.
absolutely,
No.
I can
Nope.
kill her.
Well.
But also, she is phasing into an element of reality that I can't comprehend. Like, what would you do if you
I
were about to
don't.
fight
There's
a
no
guy,
winning that.
And then he
I don't
like,
think there's
turns
any winning
into,
that.
Like the react cam spot, right? He like ends up reacting to his own fight, and then he starts drawing on you. Like, some
Reacting
shit.
to his
I
own
think
fight.
If I take immediate action,
Oh my God.
that
Oh
is
hi
to say
Durant.
before she phases into the
I'm gonna take the
streamer.
sand if you don't
I can
mind.
do that. The hell is this guy's deal? Oh my God! Wait, I think he would kill me. He's a car. Yeah, he. I was gonna say he's an armadillo, but like he's got armor. I would probably evade him. I could probably evade him, but I could die. If I wasn't ready for him, I think it'd be bad, but I think I could get out of the way. I don't think he's gonna be that fast.
All right. Now I gotta just find a place
Well,
to jump
I'm
from.
not a ghost.
We have keep inventory on.
I'm not a ghost, and also this doesn't kill me, and she wouldn't be taking pictures of me. She would be nice to me.
Over
but
here.
I would be very
Over here
scared
works. Over here
if
works.
It gets very dark and sinister. Some shit's happening. I would take damage. It would hurt a lot, but like it would be like psychic mental damage. I would feel really weird for a while. If she's there, that means ghosts are also there. No, she didn't take a picture. No ghosts, and the ghost wouldn't hurt me. I'd be very scared, but that wouldn't hurt me. A bunny.
Ow. That's not nearly high enough.
It's a fat move, bro. This is
There we
literally a
go.
move. Wait, you go to the island? He
Oh.
takes you there too?
Oh no, the island.
I actually don't know his game at all. Oh yeah! It's me, Springman! I die. Just punch
You
me
mean
in the
that
head,
didn't
right?
kill me?
Especially if he uses his rush attack. Probably break a bone. You're right. Boy, yeah. I think him and I would be friends. Him and I would be good friends, and we would not get into a fight. But I think I would probably break some bones. Oh, I got one for this. Those ghosts would not hurt me, but you know what I would be? You know what I would be? I'd be very scared.
Dead.
I'd be very scared of the ghosts. I would not have a power
And I'm
I
back.
would not be able to
Perfect.
defeat them. They would not kill me, but they would haunt me a bit, and then I would be aware of the afterlife. My ass would be cognizant of what comes next. You're scared of that? Wouldn't you be? They're ghosts.
I'd be scared of that.
Ah!
Fuck, I would 100% be scared of that, actually.
Probably die. I would get hit. I can't avoid all. He hits himself. I love Bomberman, dude. I love him. He don't even know what he be doing. He just be running. What he even trying to explode? He not even trying to blow anything up. It is kind of a bummer that Bomberman never was a character, right? I don't even think he deserves it now, but like, I don't know. He'd be good. I think I would die. Painfully. I think I would die. What does he do
Yeah.
beside bombs? I think he can ride in a kangaroo's pouch. I think he can kick bombs. And I think he had a game where he could do a lot of things, like a Bomberman build or something.
Out of my way.
That's a vampire. I'm dead. But I think he would make it not... I don't think he would make it painful. He's a good guy. Alucard kills me, but he does not siphon my blood. That's a no-no. I'm not doing that. Oh, no, it's Dr. Wily. I could probably evade it. That is famously one of the hardest final bosses in the series. Wait, really? What is Capsule 7? Why does everybody know that? Did you not just see what he did? I see it. He has the 4... But me, I wouldn't get away. No, you're right. I can't avoid it. You're right. I can't spin it. And you know what? It would be a painful death, too. I don't think there's a way to avoid it. You're right. Okay. I'll give up. Dead. I don't even know what he does. I don't even know what he does. He has a giant plasma sword. He's going to kill me very fast, right? Just chop me up. Zero can't kill you because you're human. What? Wait, he's a robot. Wait. No,
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God.
matter. We're playing in these rules. Never mind. Yeah, we're playing within these rules. I'll die. I like where you're going. I appreciate you trying. I'll die. I'd probably die to Knuckles. If he can destroy multiverses or whatever the fuck, I'd probably just smash my skull in. My brain would be mush. Probably squeezed out of my ears. You could trick Knuckles. I'd be like, Knuckles, I think Sonic is gathering the Chaos Emeralds again. We should stop him. Oh, okay. Is this before or after Sonic 3? Which Knuckles is this? Do we got the Lego shoes? I have the Master Emerald right under this box. Yeah, exactly. I could get him I could Bugs Bunny him, right? Eggman tricks Knuckles twice. He does it again after Sonic 3. Wait, really? Outsmart and escape. I could outsmart Knuckles. He's stupid. I would walk up to him and be like, give me that! He would slow me down. I would do it slow. Hey! I don't think I could kill him. I could escape. Well, like, I want to kill him because he's an animal, but he is, like, the perfect life form, right? But he's not killing me here. Survived but scary. Yes. He's scary. He's not trying to kill me.
Is that a different
He's just
biome?
making me very slow.
Or did it only say that because it went outside?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I think this is a move. I'm not going over there. Oh, I didn't know he does booms. It's broken bones because I could, like, if I block it, I'm taking chip damage. Lie down.
All right, it's a cow. It's like, what is that?
I
No,
think
it's
Gaia
just a
would
cow.
put
Just a
booms
cow.
there because that is where most Street Fighter people are. I think if he does he could get really low to the ground and do a boom. If he saw me there, he's just aiming where the other people are. I think if he saw an opponent that was crouching or laying down, he could do that. I think I would outsmart him actually. I think because he's just gonna stand still. I'm gonna outsmart him. In a realistic Guile scenario, he'd just walk up to you. He could just walk up and kill me.
Smooth stone.
He's very strong. But in this scenario, I would escape. I get away for sure. Oh my God! Jesus! I'm not getting away from this guy. He's so fast. Now I gotta be honest. Don't think he would kill me. Not because he couldn't, but I think he doesn't have him in it. He doesn't have the Satsui no Hado, right? He has no reason to kill me. I would have some broken bones. He has honor. He is fighting as a competition. This guy kills me. Quickly, though, I think. He would just chop me into bit. Nope, it would be painful. He would chop me into
What would be the
bits.
funniest legendary that would spawn? Funniest legendary?
That guy's like the devil. I'll die. I'll die very fast. Cosmic fist just flying out of the fucking ether. I'm dead. Oh, he gave her a gun. That's kind of cool. I like that. He wouldn't.
Funniest,
Right?
most
See, this
useless
one's tough 'cause,
legendary.
Like, is he getting close to me? He would just throw dirt on me. I mean, stop. Hey, leave me alone. And I can't kill him because he has armor on. I also feel like he wouldn't try to hurt me. He would be a friend of mine. I think a boulder might kill you. How big are they? Yeah, no, well. But he's also throwing hearts. He literally throws something
Congratulations.
to make me feel better. Like, I feel like I would be fine, right? You know what?
You spawned a.
Because I think he would throw rocks at me, and it would be like a stone.
It has to be a
but I'd
violet
able to heal
paradox.
From the heart, and I would be okay. He's not gonna kill me, but I would not be able to kill him because he has armor. All right, we're done. Those are all the assist trophies in the game. This one didn't really have anything that was all that controversial, and it's their problem now. And your problem now is that you need to subscribe and like, because you watch the whole thing for free. Pay up. Thanks for watching YouTube. Goodbye. So long. If this goes on YouTube, if this is a YouTube video.
Oh shit! I accidentally picked up all that.
Goodbye.
Oops.
So long.
Whoop.
Surely
Whoop.
that's going on YouTube.
Whoop. Whoop. Whoop.
The people love Smash.
All right. Next video. Okay, Cody's fun, but I'm so brain mush right now. What would be something to put on that would make me less brain mush? Guessing what games are woke with friends. Oh god. I've already seen that one. That is a funny video. Oh. There has to. Here, we go back to homepage. Come on, give me a good one. Trying to explain FNAF lore to a normal adult. Oh, Jesus Christ. Pikmin 3 Deathless. This one seems like it would be fun.
Recently, I acquired a charming Victorian-era mansion in need of some, mild TLC. I've been looking to expand personally. I'm tired of sleeping with my bed in the kitchen and falling asleep to the hum of the fridge every night. Plus, a little bit about me, I actually work in building restoration. I'm not licensed, but I dabble. So I figured, what have I got to lose? The size of the mansion is the first and really most important thing to figuring out how expensive this is actually going to be. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds of figuring this out, but I do need a reference if I'm going to sketch it out and actually calculate the value of things, say replacing flooring, painting, staining wood, and so on. Let me explain what I mean by sketching. So I use a software called Xactimate that you can recreate houses, businesses, really kind of any building you can imagine in with a virtual model containing room dimensions, wall thickness, the size and style of windows and doors, and so much more. Once you have your building
6
created,
PCs.
you can let the software figure out all the nitty-gritty math. If you want to paint all the walls in a room, there's a calculation for that. or replacing a toilet or cleaning a stove and
Fuck.
so on. And the way that it figures
No,
out factors in both
no.
the cost of
Throw it in the
material
ocean.
as well as labor.
In the ocean.
Normally, to recreate these sketches, I take this big 360 camera to scan a place. I move it around to capture measurements using LiDAR and 360 photos. I use this to reproduce space in Xactimate instead of having to do everything by hand, taking around a laser measure and sketching things out in a really tedious way. Here's an example of my own apartment when I first moved in. In the scan, I can move around in the space virtually and take all my measurements to get things pretty dang precise. Here's what the model of that actually looks like recreated in Xactimate. But as great as this method is, I don't want to scan 50 plus rooms. That would take me literally a few days. And actually I found the original blueprints for the mansion. You'd be amazed what kind of public records you can find. But what they're lacking is any sort of real meaningful scale. So that's the thing I'm gonna have to really figure out. And look, if I can break character for a second, I know a few other people have already determined how big Luigi's Mansion is using their own ways, but I found those methods either too arbitrary or convoluted. So I decided on something that was both arbitrary and convoluted.
I'll put one in my house.
Thought was, okay,
one
what
in my
this
house, the rest
mansion
of them just put
can
outside
I
for
find that
spawning.
has a real-life equivalent that's consistent across sizes. Doors and windows come in a huge variety of different sizes, as well as furniture, light fixtures.
There we go.
I mean, really almost anything you can think of, someone's done it 100 different ways. So I need something that I can use as a constant. And then I found it. Something relatively consistently sized that's not changed in most of its history.
There we go.
And that's pool cues. I apologize. All of the cues that I have are, well, they're a little bit broken and damaged. But pool cues are all pretty consistently around 57 or 58 inches. There is going to be a small margin of error, but from here I was able to go around measuring things in the room that I'll use to actually recreate the whole mansion. The ceilings come in at a grand 9'6", and the doors are a wide 3 feet and 2 inches. Finally, I measured the short wall.
Somebody has a
billiards room,
Porygon
which
next
is
to the
just
house.
over 24.5 feet long.
Oh,
It's
hi,
certainly a
Ducklet.
mansion. And from these measurements, I was able to figure out, well, every room in the house, and I mapped out the whole thing using the map as a guide to make sure that the layout was correct. And finally, we arrive at this. It looks pretty simple, and frankly, the house at the end of the day is pretty simple. You know, what is a house if not a series of rooms, even a mansion? You can sketch in objects like cabinets and sinks and things like that to be more detailed, but frankly, I'd be surprised if I don't end up tearing out all of them anyways in the renovation, and I wanted to save myself just a little bit of time, because this took a while. The final measurement that we come in at is about 27,000 square feet, with a total 42,000 square feet if you include the attic and basement in that measurement. Here's an example of another building that's about that size. But enough about my method, man. Let's get into the house. Come on, let's check it out. I do have to take care of one really quick thing though. Just one. I'll be right back, okay? Just give me like 4 hours. I will be right back, I promise, okay? I'll see you inside. Okay, bye-bye. See you in a little bit. Sorry that took so long, but I'm back now. Where was I at? Pie eating contest. And let me tell you, I won. I won pretty definitively. Kind of no other competitors left by the end of it, if you know what I mean. Let's get inside the mansion, okay? Come on, let's check it out. Let's see what's going on in here. The origin of the term foyer refers to the hearth or focus. It's the first thing you notice when walking inside of a house, and it's got a pop. I think the foyer in Luigi's Mansion has a lot of charm, and definitely a large, regal feeling of a mansion, but it needs some TLC to really make it come alive. I love the grand staircases. It's nice that you've got lots of windows for natural light, and this very lovely chandelier, so you know what's up when walking in. But what's down, or rather coming down, is all the plaster on these walls. They're peeling and cracking. We need to patch all the damage and paint it. Everything that's wood is going to be sanded and then stained and sealed to kind of lock back in that beauty. Also, we're ripping out all the carpet because a lot of ghostly stink has soaked up into them dirty fibers, and if the wood underneath it is good, perfect. We can just sand it and refinish it. Newer houses don't really get wood floors put in anymore due to, well, really, it's just due to the cost. So if you've got them, I say, let them shine. If the wood isn't good, we can go back with a high quality equivalent plank flooring, It's a mansion. I don't want to see LVP involved anywhere in here. Other little things include cleaning the chandelier, cleaning this judge's panel and restaining it. We got to restain the doors, clean those up, window casing, regrout the tile floor here, polish it, give it a new kind of finish to make it shine again. And finally, in terms of fundamental changes, I would remove the first floor double doors, as I think they just make the space feel smaller and more confined than you want in your foyer. A lot of these things, especially carpet and things with the walls, are going to be standard throughout the whole mansion. You know, remove that stinky fiber, restore the wood, and patch any damage we see, and lots of painting. Then we're going to do our best to preserve the features that are nice and fix any major concerns. I don't want to fundamentally flip this house or turn it into something completely different. I just want to let what's here shine. I want it to be its best self. And additionally, we got to fix any major concerns. And that's all concerning this lower part of the foyer. We're looking at just over $30,000 for the work I just mentioned.
God damn,
$30,000? Additional
$30,000?
$8,000 for the upstairs portion of the foyer. Just to sort of give you a feel for how much this is going to cost by the end. Yeah, this is a bigger room than most, but we've still got dozens to go, and honestly, this one's in surprisingly good condition. Moving upstairs through these double doors, we have the parlor.
Oh.
First thing I notice is this dusty,
Voltor.
yellowed, just nasty looking wallpaper. Originally, I thought maybe it was supposed to be that color, but nah, this was white when they put it in. So we're tearing that out, as well as these curtains, and we're junking all this dusty old furniture, okay? Wood stuff, that can stay, but if it's porous, if it's gonna soak up the stink, it's getting the boot. Also, goodbye creepy paintings. Behind this room, we have the anteroom. What's an anteroom? Good question. An anteroom is a smaller room, typically with a focus or purpose of leading into a larger, more important room. I don't think whoever named this room entirely understood that concept, because it's as big as the room it connects to, and that room is a giant closet. But, you know, maybe I'm misunderstanding the concept. And also, wow, this room is beautiful.
Oh,
it's an
God.
overlooked room in my mind. I don't think a whole lot of people stop and actually look at this place when they're walking through. But now that I'm actually giving it a moment to really admire it, it's regal, and I love all the intricate details. It's incredibly charming. I don't want to do much more to it than clean it, if I'm being honest. Unfortunately, the wallpaper looks dirty and worn, or especially around the edges, and I don't think I could say in good faith that I could save
That's
it.
what
But
it is.
I
It's a
don't know a
corfish.
lot about wallpaper restoration, if that even really is a thing. That and the dead plants, that's all I'm changing. In order to take off this wallpaper and clean up the room, you'd have to detach these features from the wall. And what exactly are these? I honestly have no clue, but someone on Reddit was able to help me out. And it appears to be based off of a Victorian period Moorish arch, which makes sense as the mansion is very clearly designed with the Victorian era architecture in mind. However, as is demonstrated by this image, it seems to be sort of a reinterpretation to create this fun visual pattern. Neat. Next door, we have the wardrobe room. The wardrobe room is a pretty modest closet for a mansion. Like, there's only 17 different articles of clothing, a couple of hats, and a few pairs of shoes. I've got that much clothing piled up on my floor right now, so I don't know. I guess it's rich people stuff. I'm just too poor-pilled to understand why the same jacket and dress combo is in each of these dressers. Also, Luigi commented that they're all full of moth holes, so we're going to have to just throw away all the clothes we find, sadly. I would love to donate it, but I'm dealing with what I got here, okay? Right next to your closet, we've got this side balcony. Kind of a super weird spot to have it, especially considering it looks directly into the primary bedroom, which also this seems like it's really far away from your primary bedroom. But I guess you keep simple clothes in the bedroom and then make the trek over here to get dressed. It's a lifestyle I find hard to understand. Also, this window's broken, so you know, add that to the list. Moving over to the other area, just off this second floor of the foyer, we have this short hallway that leads to some bedrooms. Personally, I don't love the enclosed door leading in here, and I wish it was more open. I'd have a structural engineer look at this, and if they say this wall's not load-bearing, I would just, you know, cut the whole section out, open it up. We'll have to check back after they come to inspect it. Otherwise, in this hall, we've got 2 fake doors, which you're gonna have to take those off the hinges, then remove the trim around the door. Also, you know, you gotta be careful. Moving inside the study, we have a charming but fairly dilapidated room. You know, look at these crooked shelves. I guess maybe they were intentionally designed like that since they're all symmetrical, but I can't have my trinkets sliding off these shelves. They'll get damaged. Also, cute fireplace, but there's no way that this is up to code. There's like no hearth, and the masonry does not extend far enough out. You see these bricks? That's not up to code. You cannot have wood this close to this much heat, or your house is going up in flames. The twins' room is one of the less remarkable rooms in the mansion. It's got a neat light, I guess. Actually, looking up, I really like what they did with the ceiling. It looks like it has wallpaper, but these clouds are an additional layer, giving it more depth. It makes up for the fact that they have misprinted wallpaper. I mean, like, look at this. There must have been some sort of error at the factory or something, because over here the pattern looks normal, but over here it's like super stretched. Basically just tear all this shit out and reset this room. Looking above the wallpaper, it looks like you can maybe strip off the paint and restain these boards, or, you know, it might just be cheap paneling and not worth the trouble. I'm not exactly sure yet. Either way, I'd strip the paint off these boards and restain them or paint them a more fun color at least. It's just something different. I'm not huge on this room. I don't like it when people paint nice wood white. Like, I mean, at least if you're gonna paint over like beautiful wood, do something interesting or like have some sort of intention or direction behind what you're doing. Next door, we've got the nursery. And this room is absolutely dripped out. Cute light fixtures, incredible heart-themed
Okay, that room does
furniture,
actually look
and
pretty
the
cool
most
though. Like, I'll be
stunning
totally
windows
honest.
in the whole house.
That room looks really cool.
Heart-stained glass. My God, I want this in real life, please. Also, more stretched wallpaper though. It's kind of interesting. If I was a baby, I would live in this room. Across the hall, we have the primary bedroom. And nothing too remarkable about this room. Most significant thing you're gonna have to take care of is, you know, replacing the previously mentioned window. And here's the thing, okay? This whole house is probably gonna need new windows. These ones look super old and drafty, and they're most likely double hung windows, which is an older style of window that has 2 different frames on like essentially 2 different tracks. And the frame you open and close, it actually has lead weights inside of the wall that act as a counterbalance to keep the window open, but I've always found them to be a massive pain. And again, they're usually drafty, but replacing them, all of the windows in this house, it's quite a few dozen. It's gonna cost a lot of money. We're just gonna kick that can down the road. Plus, like, you know, old glass is character. It's not a bug, it's a feature. People pay money for that. The other thing in this room is a large, disgusting mattress, and we're tossing that thing because fluids, demons. Most of this furniture, it's gonna be, you know, tossed. We're gonna have to get a lot of dumpsters, and you know, I'll maybe talk about that later. But I'm keeping a running tally. It's gonna be a lot between tearing out wallpaper, throwing away crappy furniture, and just all the stuff that cannot be salvaged in this place. We're looking at several dozens, maybe even hundreds of tons of just garbage, which is, again, kind of a bummer. I'm just not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to push right past it. I have a beautiful new house. You know, nothing's perfect. It is what it is. That's the upper west wing of the mansion. Now, moving over to the east wing, we can't go that way because the other hallway is arbitrarily blocked off. You know, load-bearing wall or insane psycho architect. I'll let you pick. We're gonna add that to the list for the structural engineer, you know, whenever she gets here, if she can find this place. For now, let's head downstairs. This large first floor hallway only has 1 fake door, so, you know, that's an improvement. You know, we'll just remove it. Again, if you see carpet, tearing it out, trying to restore the wood underneath. Also, I'm keeping this charming little spooky picture. I like it. It's maybe the only one in the house I like. Down the hall, we've got the laundry room, which has a really intriguing light fixture and incredibly unique tile design. I can't say I've ever seen someone lay tile like this on a wall before, and
you know, actually, I'm just gonna
run. Gave up 2/3 of the way because presumably they forgot to bring a ladder that day, or they were doing it on Friday. Behind this door, you'll find a okay, we're adding medical bills to the cost of this room. as well as removing the stupid door and replacing this ancient washing machine. Okay, we're getting a newer one. Also getting an electrician to run a new line up here for a dryer, and then buying a dryer for this room. Overall, you know, pain of getting slammed in a door aside, this room's kind of cute. I don't hate the baby blues. The ceiling is incredibly weird though, and it feels kind of unfinished to me. Like this almost looks like the way that some adhesives are spread out on a surface, and maybe this used to be
bit,
finished,
yeah.
but it ended up falling off, or again, you know, someone maybe just gave up. This room's weirdly unfinished, but we'll clean up the tile, retexture, paint the ceiling, maybe finish the tile in here, but I'm kind of unsure if that would look better. I think the problem with it is maybe just the jagged edges. So I'd probably just cut new tiles in half and then place them along the top so that the final layer is at least flat and smooth, and it looks more like a border instead of just abruptly ending. All right, moving through the door that doesn't violently mangle you, we've got the butler's room. Cool room, nice. Big tiles on the floor, beautiful ceiling. And I want to say that these walls are actually set tile as well and not just wallpaper. So really all we got to do here is, you know, clean up some things,
just
probably do some caulking,
boards.
plug some holes. Don't
hey,
laugh.
PC.
But speaking of holes, though, looking through this one will take you into a secret room. One of the only rooms that really feels like it displays the full wealth of a mansion. This chandelier is great, and these curtains are maybe the only fabric worth trying to get laundered and not just, you know, straight up throwing them away. As for how you get in here, well, again, add it to the list for the engineer. At this point, we're looking at 3 different walls being demoed, at least this one getting reframed. So, you know, we can have an actual door in here. This is starting to add up. Maybe I can tear out some of the gold in this room to offset the cost. On the other end of the hall, we have the fortune teller's room. It's got nice, beautiful wood throughout, and I really hope it all looks like that underneath the carpeting, because if it does, you know, I would do my absolute best to preserve it. In here, I like the charming little astral designs that are painted onto the panelings, and honestly, I would do my best to just seal those so they don't chip, because yeah, they're cute. They add a lot of fun flair to the room. If you've got billions of rooms in your mansion, you might as well have some fun and be eccentric, right? What's the point in 52 rooms if they're all boring and the exact same? Next door is the mirrored room. Frankly, I don't have a lot to say about the room. For some reason, it makes Luigi sad though. Really, you just need to clean this room up. I do think that I would maybe put another identical mirror in across from this first one, so you have kind of an infinity mirror situation going on. Also, of course, get rid of the burning torch. You can't just have open flames throughout your house, because if you do, you don't have a house for very long, okay? Look, I'm just gonna say it right away. I don't care for the dining room. I don't like eating my food away from natural light. Something about it just feels, I don't know, wrong. It's dim and sad, and where are all the chairs? I don't like it. But that's, you know, that's more of an issue with the decorating, and, you know, we can change that. The room itself as a room is fine, but I'm not eating my food in here, okay? The big table is pretty cool. You know, it's hard to find a table that big. Next door, we have the kitchen. And I want to love the kitchen, but the checkered brown and white flooring does not fit with the other colors in this room. Not that I think checkered white and brown fits, you know, pretty much any place, but something has to change, and it's not the adorable fish tiles. I like those, but, you know, maybe go back in with more blues and greens, and man, these walls just look so nasty. Also, I love that there's backwards boxes of food. I mean, even just having boxes that just say food on them in the first place, it's kind of charming. But these shelves, they're all crooked or sagging. They gotta be removed, and we gotta mount new ones. The sink is leaky, and, you know, that needs to be fixed. We're gonna have to check underneath, make sure none of the wood is rotting, because chances are it is, and we're gonna have to tear out all these cabinets. They're probably no good. You also need a fridge that doesn't violently hurt you every time you open it up to see if new food is magically spawned in. The kitchen opens up into the boneyard. Into the boneyard. The boneyard? Are you kidding me? Mostly insignificant space other than this exterior valve just pouring water way too close to your foundation. I'm sure this isn't causing any sort of problems down in the basement. Let's just forget about it. Which we're also gonna do with the graveyard. There's a good reason this is fenced off away from the rest of the backyard, and I intend to keep it that way. You know, Luigi, I actually disagree with you. Like 100%, you can plan for this sort of thing. You can definitely take precautions. Like keeping a spooky graveyard fenced away from your property and destroying
What?
this oddly
Luigi would
sharp
never do that.
doghouse that
Luigi would
magically
never.
opens up into a vortex to transport you there. These are very real, very manageable problems, okay? Also, wow, you know it's a mansion because there's a ballroom in it. What would you even do with this? Like personally, I can't say I dance enough to justify having a whole room dedicated to it, but I also can't say I can justify having like a 30-bedroom mansion either, so I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like the target demo for this kind of building anyways. Also, I suppose the answer is just to a lot of these questions, have people over. You know, having a ton of friends over, then heck yeah, you're gonna need a freaking ballroom. Are you kidding me? It's got beautiful chandeliers that, we saw those earlier. Definitely feels less special knowing the other room was just where you kept the spare ones in case you mosh too violently in here. Bit of a bummer, but it is still a beautiful room. The storage room, my notes just say storage room, big hole in the floor, stinking moving wall, weird. What do we make of this? Me? Well, there's no good reason to have this trapdoor here. We're gonna just put some joists in, additional framing in here, you know, put an actual subfloor here, and we're just gonna cover this thing. So, you know, no one can fall down.
Rock
I
tape
mean,
shim.
we don't even
Okay.
know what's down there. Like, sure, we know a bunch of boo diddlies come up out of here, but like, what even is a boo? You ever think about that?
Crappy
Anyways, having a mysterious
polywag
pit full of spirits in
parasites.
your house behind a secret wall, just bad vibes across the board, dude, okay? Why is this here in the first place? Someone in this family is into some weird stuff, and that's why we're gonna be deep cleaning every single surface in this house. Top to bottom, floor to ceiling, bleach, you know, deep scrub. We're getting... I don't even want to know what we're getting out of it, okay? So,
Oh, God.
speaking of human filth, let's check out the bathroom. It's cute enough, you know, replace the sink with one that's not horribly slanted, as well as replacing this ancient toilet, but other than that, it seems fine, you know? Although, there is one object in here that raises a pretty big question mark in my mind, and that's the radiator. If you've never lived in an old house, you maybe have no idea what this thing is. It's a radiator. My living room actually has two of them in it. Basically, hot water runs through here, and the heat given off by that water heats the room through, you know, ambient heat transfer. They're an interesting piece of technology that's been replaced pretty much entirely by the modern vent systems in homes, HVACs, HVACs. So I'm not, you know, surprised to see this in an old mansion. It makes a lot more sense given the time period. But what I am surprised at is that this is the first time I've noticed one. So I quickly ran through every room in the house, and I did not see them anywhere except for the washrooms. You know, there's definitely a chance that I missed a stray, but for the most part, seriously? You know, once the temperature drops, this place is gonna be cold. It makes sense to me that they're in the bathrooms because growing up, the bathroom in my house would get so cold that the water would freeze in the pipes and we couldn't use the sink. The water just wouldn't run because it was frozen. So we had to keep a space heater running in it during the winter. And it was kind of the coziest room to be in once the temperature dropped. My house was cold growing up. Maybe the stove in the kitchen keeps that room hot enough. So, you know, that sink that's against the exterior wall is probably fine. But like, I don't even know where to begin on this. You know, I've seen old houses, actually I can only think of one, but I've seen an old house where they actually had a modernized HVAC system installed. This house that I was looking at, it had it up in the attic, and this thing was gargantuan. I wish I had a picture that I could show you. The install looked like it must have been an absolute nightmare. You have to like tear open the walls to run vents down in them, and then with the building this size, I mean, you're looking at literally industrial sized equipment, like things that you would have to cool down a warehouse. I just
Got
don't
rock
see how you
and
can
dark
ignore this
gyms,
issue.
okay.
I mean, I don't want the house to end up full of dead people again, because I have to assume the first winter that hits 0 degrees wiped out most every living thing in this building. The other heating solution would be a different kind of radiant heat, which is underneath your flooring. That's kind of the more modern version of the radiator. I think it distributes heat a little bit more evenly throughout the room, but I don't think you could do that install without gutting the original hardwood, and that sounds even worse to me than tearing open a bunch of holes to drop vents in. This is genuinely going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I don't even know how expensive the HVAC system you'd have to have for this, because I'm not a specialist in that. That's just an additional cost that, okay, I'll factor the vents in, but I have no idea how much that machine would cost. I'm smiling through the pain. Let's move on to the actual bathroom, because we got a separate washroom and bathroom, which is kind of nice so it doesn't get stinky where you take a little shower. But unfortunately, the shower in here is leaking, and it looks like we've got a clogged tub. Let's, hope it's just maybe someone forgot to pull out the stopper and it's not like full of grease and hair. Hopefully there's no major plumbing issues, but also spoilers, there's major plumbing issues. The bathroom directly above this has also significant water problems, and the washroom on the second floor, it has major plumbing issues. But wait, before we talk about that, look at this. I just noticed that there's a rug under the tub, which is so bizarre. Like, one, just from a why standpoint, but also you can never move this. This tub is presumably mounted with a drain underneath it, and even if you detach that, it's a cast iron tub. These things weigh hundreds of pounds, like around 400 pounds at least. You can't just move this thing once the rug gets moldy underneath it.
You could sure as hell try.
This rug is moldy. It's full of mold. Mold develops fast, and with this tub splashing and leaking water for God only knows how long, you got mold. This second floor leak means essentially that you have to completely gut these rooms, because most likely there's mold behind the walls, there's mold under these floors. We're tearing it down to studs. Wood is incredibly porous and it soaks up water, and to actually dry it out, or if it's really bad, we're gonna have to cut it out and replace it. You're gonna have to tear out all the vanities, all the tile, all the flooring. You're essentially recreating these rooms from the ground up, and just praying that the water did not get into any adjacent rooms, that it hasn't rotted your framing, and you won't have to reframe the whole thing too. But don't worry, I have a moisture meter, so we can check for that. It's all soaking wet, so we're gonna have to run a few pieces of equipment. We've got fans, dehumidifiers, as well as air scrubbers. Air scrubbers are fans. They run air through a filter. It helps collect the spores so that you don't breathe mold into your lungs and turn into one of those creatures from The Last of Us. Man, mold spores, get the heck out of my mansion. Also, one pro of gutting these bathrooms is that you'll finally be able to get this boo poster off the wall, which I assume was mounted directly to the studs. Hopefully it's not structural. Silver linings. That's what we deal in here at Hey Cowboy Home Renovations Incorporated. We need some relief from this disaster, okay? And what better way to just relax, let that stress fall off of you than by shooting some pool. I don't know, I like pool. Maybe you want to do something else, but the billiards room, it's great. Really, absolutely one of my favorite rooms in the mansion, probably just because it has a pool table, and so I know I'd be down there a lot. Not a whole ton I would change. I'd get rid of this dorky light fan thing, just get that out of here, and I'd put in one of those cool pool table lights. There's like this, one of these. These things are so fun, and there's so many cool different ones that you can find, like on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, wherever. There's a lot of cool antique stores. This would really just be my fun little room. I would make this thing so dang cool. A spot for some brewskis might be nice, and I'll be one happy cowboy, okay? And then when I'm, content, when I've stopped playing pool because I sunk the 8-ball too soon for the 1000th time, or sunk the cue ball directly off of my shot that sunk the 8 and just, losing the game, I can head next door to the projection room. The grossest looking room in the house. I get the thought process is like, okay, you have all these paddings for acoustics, so things, sound really nice for the movie, but honestly, it looks like a room for an insane person. It's fun that the rug looks like, part of a reel of film, but gross room. Gonna take some work to fix this up. We're tearing out all of this just gross padded walls, but we'll put in some nice reclining chairs, and bam, I've finally got a place to watch my favorite movie, Ricky Stenicki. moving to the last couple of rooms on the first floor, we have the conservatory, which is charming and easy to fix. You know, honestly, this one's nearly perfect. Just take care of that wood, replace the flooring, general cleaning. You know, I think it's a really pretty room and one I would actually really like to use. I do think it could probably be a little bit bigger and better constructed acoustically for, you know, actually playing instruments. It's kind of small and narrow, so I can't imagine the sound is like that good in it. Also, despite it being a mansion, there were a lot of people living here, so I guess they just had to be smart about the space. It's like they say, you know, 27,000 square feet is never as big as you think it is. Actually though, come to think of it, there were like 20 people living here and only 2 toilets. That seems like not a good time. Anyways, if you want to get your pump on, you know, you can pop on into the rec room and you're gonna have to detach these ladders, you know, all the old mats, punching bags, they gotta go because they're gonna be full of dust. Polish the floors, fix up that grout. You're ready to smack down your balance board and just bust a sweat on some Wii Fit in here, all right? Outside, we've got the courtyard, which honestly, for such a large mansion, feels kind of claustrophobic. It's only like a dozen or so feet wide, and it feels more like a narrow side yard with how small it is. I mean, what? It's like a 27,000 feet mansion, but it's on like a 1 acre plot, so there's no actual green space. Seems weird. It's got these crooked broken light fixtures, which, you know, gonna get those replaced, and I'm gonna remove one of these statues. Can you guess which one? Let's just say I agree with Luigi's assessment, okay? Over here, this is not an outhouse, but I'm not really sure what it's for because it's too small to really put any gardening tools in it. Bottom of the well. Finally, we've got a well. Another well. Another bottom of the let's get out. Oh no. Anyways, stairs. You know, wouldn't have a second floor without them. That's why it's called the upstairs. Anyways, standard reno. The tally right now is, I mean, just from the carpets alone, we're looking at tens of thousands of dollars just to tear out carpet and polish floors. So far I would say this place was not worth the trouble I went through to get it. I'm regretting the moral and literal implications of my actions. Upstairs, Nana's room. It's cute, you know, not a whole lot to do in here other than replacing the wallpaper, get all the old dusty furniture, drapery out of here. We're gonna hang, you know, new fixtures, get some new blinds up. Me personally, I'm thinking this is becoming the gaming room. Am I right? Am I right? Set up some tables in here. Get yourself some shelves to keep all your stuff on. You could drag some suits of armor down from the attic. Really get the vibe going. Come on. I know you see the vision, right? You're getting it. The tea room is much more in line with my vision of what a mansion's dining room really should look like. We've got some nice natural light in theory. The room feels very elegant and regal. The wood flooring is nice. It's almost like a parquet flooring. And while I don't love this sort of Victorian style with the gold and whites, I think that could be easily transformed. I'd probably opt for changing all the white to like a bold green, maybe a sort of jade or emerald. Something about that just feels regal. I think you could really have a lot of fun choosing different paint colors throughout this whole mansion. But also, you know, if that costs too much money, just give it the old landlord special, right? The Astral Hall is a trippy room with a stunning chandelier, an interesting modern tile checkered across the floors, walls, and ceilings. I'm not really sure what you would use this room for in everyday life, but I like its insane design. This one really stumps me though. How would you use a room like this? Like, I'm thinking a cult dance party, maybe?
A cult dance party?
We've got oh god, where do I even start? This is not up to code at all. How do I reframe this? There's nothing here. This whole building's gonna be condemned. I'm talking, oh my god. Okay, this door here, we're just gonna reframe and finish this wall so you can't even tell there's a room back here. We're just gonna forget about it. I know you're supposed to disclose problems when you're aware of them in a house, like when you sell it and things like that, but I'm taking this to my grave, okay? No one needs to. Oh, okay. It was just a gas leak. It's just making me hallucinate. I was just breathing in like straight gas. Okay, yeah, we can fix that. Actually, the room's kind of charming. That's not bad. We just need to put a new light bulb in. The sitting room is odd to me. These candle mounts are weird and ugly and unnecessarily large. I don't like the white. It's kind of English countryside meets add. Also, despite being on the exterior wall, this room, as well as the guest room next to it, do not have any windows. You know, you need that natural light or you're gonna get some major seasonal depression. Plus, who wants to wake up in a pitch black room? But you'll actually notice that kind of all the front-facing rooms, they just don't have windows. I think it's probably a feature of the game's design that if there were windows there, they'd be a little bit distracting because you'd see them at the bottom of the screen. But I would think that they could just disable that so that when you look through the camera, you could still see the windows, but they wouldn't appear on the game. But I'm not a game developer. Also, I doubt any of them thought that someone would be nitpicking something like this 20 years later. Who cares? But how can you be depressed when you've got a happy little clown next to your bed? Yeah, we're starting over stylistically with these two rooms. You know, it's fun that your guests staying over can have two rooms all to themselves, really, you know, make themselves feel at home, but geez, at least make the style something a little bit more broadly appealing. Maybe a Western motif? Everyone likes that, right? Come on. Yeah, I mean, that's
Who
the
needs
second
Western?
floor. Aside from whatever the heck is locked up behind this door, but yeah, we'll get back to that, okay? It seems like, you know, we maybe need an electrician to check out this back here. Maybe just a new light bulb. I'm not sure. It's, you know, it's so hard to see. I just can't see anything. This is the safari room. It's an attic, okay? Same as the artist studio. Same with, I mean, all the rooms up here. Now, I don't really think there's a point in naming them. They're all just rooms in an attic, okay? Biggest thing we gotta fix is all these stupid fake doors up here. And we can't just remove these ones. We actually gotta make them into real doors so you can move around in this space. You shouldn't have to go outside to get back into the other side of this. That makes absolutely no sense, okay? We just gotta really, besides that, make sure that the wood is in decent condition. Outside though, I do like this horse statue, horse with a little party hat. That's kind of cute, you know, that can stay. It's cool that you can actually see that they paid attention to the chimneys in here. The one coming through here is like actually above the location of the fireplace down in the study, so nice job on that, you know, immersive, beautiful. I love it, okay? Something that doesn't make sense though is this magical elevator that takes you up to the roof. Where is this below it? Because it does not make sense that it's just coming through the floor, okay? Looking at the
Head
roof
up there now.
first off, you shouldn't
Head
have a
up
fire
there,
up
see
here,
what the
but
island's
otherwise
about.
it looks like it's in an okay condition as long as you make sure that water isn't pooling up here. Yeah, that's not bad, you know, but you got to make sure that your stuff drains, but not down your chimneys, okay? That's... No, for
That
some
wasn't-
reason,
that wasn't what
neither
I was
of
meant
these
to do.
chimneys are covered, and every
There
time
we
it
go.
rains, you're gonna have water coming straight down into your house. Not to
Gotta
mention that this one doesn't even have a
get my way
grate, so a
around.
bird or an unsuspecting vulnerable plumber could fall down here, okay? Also, instead of actually hiding your fancy room like on the first floor, this one they just elected to board up the door, which to me is so much funnier. It's so lazy. Also, this fancy room puts the other one completely to shame. The design of the ceiling is incredible and fun, and you know, I personally don't love how gaudy this room is. It does scream wealthy mansion. It also screams, who's that one guy? His name's not Fibonacci, Liberace. This thing screams Liberace. But that being said, you know, this chimney right here,
Who's
all the water
Liberace?
pouring down,
Who the I don't know
that's
who
gonna
that
cause
is.
damage, and everyone say
Is
it
that a
with
bad thing?
me.
I don't know
What
who
do we
that is.
have
I
in
don't
here? We
know.
got mold. Speaking of mold, the last area we have to cover is the basement. And wow, look at this going down the stairs. Convince me that's not several types of mold, because it sure isn't stone. These are walls that we can see the other side of. We're not going into a cave here. Mold, fantastic. I love it. So happy. Oh, and look at this. We found the electrical for the whole building, provided through a spooky old Looney Tunes contraption that's definitely not up to code and most likely will give you a lethal electric shock, powerful enough to kill, I presume, several whales and a bison. I'm just gonna add a lot of extra labor hours for a small team of electricians to replace this, and presumably the knob and tube wiring going out through the rest of this entire house. I mean, we're gonna have to tear open the walls to get an HVAC system installed. Might as well replace all of it at once. Save you a little bit of money. It's not like the electricity doesn't fail in this house, so we gotta take care of that. This room is a dirty cellar. There's not much to say about it. This is where you put your basement fridge that you keep your Coke Zero and half a pig in. Whatever. And I guess vacuum the dust, or don't. Who fucking cares? I don't think this room should be like this. There's pipes in here. These are frozen solid. That's not how they're supposed to be, okay? And this is even worse. I don't even know. The basement, it needs a lot of work. Isn't that how it goes though, right? Come on. Never fall in love with a house until you've seen the basement, because it'll break your heart. Never do unforgivable things until you are dang positive about the house, okay? But the good news here is that somehow none of the walls seem to be overly damaged. None of the foundation is caving in. Definitely some shifting here that looks not great, but whatever, nothing's bowing in. So we're gonna find any good we can in this situation, especially considering that running outdoor faucet we saw earlier. But again, just don't think about it. It's gonna be a lot of work to make sure that this is okay, and we have to redo essentially all of the plumbing, you know, down in the basement, as well as the leaking bathrooms. So most of this house, brand new plumbing, brand new electrical, and an HVAC system, so that's gonna be really affordable. Also, there's
Good
you know,
lord,
there's a
what
good
level does
chance
Replit
that
evolve?
lead was involved somewhere in here, so we're just gonna start from the ground up there. That'll be great, no problem. There's too many issues here to be ignored. Last up, we've got a little winding hall that leads back to this secret altar for all the necromancers watching this video. Now, this is gonna be your favorite room in the house. Really, the thing it's lacking is some sort of altar. Honestly, I could see this room really coming in handy for like, honestly, I could probably use this room for something right now. Shooting music videos. We did it, team. We looked through every single stinking room in this house, and we sure did decide that a lot of work needed to be done. In total, we're looking at a grand number of about $1,575,823.44 as a
That's a
rough
bit of money.
estimate. Except that's an estimate of if I did it all myself. Realistically, you know, hiring people, there's gonna most likely be a 30% overhead. That's just how much the trades typically charge. So we're actually looking at a number coming in at $2,048,571.40. Thank goodness I
Good
stopped
lord.
ordering Uber Eats. The most expensive part of this house will be anywhere that there's water leaking that needs to be gutted and rebuilt. The actual most expensive single room in the house is the second floor hallway. Despite not really needing that much work, it physically is so large that it'll actually cost the most. That, or it would probably be that treasure room on the second floor if that all needs to be completely gutted, just because that's also a big room, and tearing down to studs and rebuilding that would also be a lot of money. But we're not going to know until we start tearing out just how far that water goes. That's what the excuse I'm going to go with. In total, the huge issues of electrical and plumbing plus HVAC contribute almost $500,000 to the estimate, which I'm honestly not really entirely sure is going to be enough to cover it, and it probably won't be. So there's a good chance that this could end up costing a lot more due to the fact that really I'm not licensed in any of those trades and not that experienced with how much a lot of that stuff costs. You know, I'm just going off of comparative pricing to other things that I've seen. Also, there is one last thing that we need to address. And listen, I really didn't want to have to talk about this, but I just don't see how I can ignore it. You see this fun guy, this fungi? Can't have any of that in the house, okay? We gotta can't have that.
No
I'm
toads?
just kidding, okay? You can stay. I mean, what am I talking about? Besides, I'm gonna need a couple of roommates to help pay for all these renovations because
It's like you better not get rid of the toads. What are you talking about?
$2 million. But anyways, that's the house. That's the mansion. Feel free to come on over and look through the rooms and tell me what you think needs to be redone or what I should do with any of these rooms, because wow, it's a lot, and it's really beautiful, and I've enjoyed like looking at it in more detail, and there's a lot of little things that I didn't catch when I was more focused on just actually playing the game. So it's fun to really see the space and admire just how much that adds to the whole overall experience and makes it so immersive and really just a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks for watching. Also, just to be a little bit sincere here right at the end, thank you to all the new people who've subscribed off the last video and stuck around to watch this one. There's been so much support, and people have been so nice and very funny as well. So I've appreciated reading a lot of people's comments, and I don't know, it was a lot of fun to make that video, so it's really nice to see that other people had fun with it too. So thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next video when I am in a plane.
Huh. Alright. There's that. Let's see. What else can I put on to watch? Hidden shortcuts at Double Dash. That sounds fun.
This is Mario Kart Double Dash, and for a decade and a half, it was known as one of the most polished games in the Mario Kart franchise. Most entries in the series are loaded with game-breaking shortcuts. 64 is famous for its large skips. Wii has a faulty checkpoint system. Super Circuit is perhaps more broken than any other. These games all have healthy time trial competition, and both non-shortcut and shortcut world records
This
that have been
isn't
tracked
scary at
for
all.
many years. But then there's Mario Kart Double Dash. Immediately upon its release in 2003, a shortcut was found on Waluigi Stadium. And for the next 15 years, that was it. Double Dash has always had a competitive time trial scene, but it's been nearly exclusively non-shortcut racing. With one exception, the developers have managed to create a shortcut-free game. For years, Double Dash's speedrun scene grew, as players mastered its racing mechanics and optimized non-shortcut races. But all of a sudden,
That feels bad putting
in
my name in there, but that's
2018,
fine.
Double Dash's reputation as a shortcut-free game was put on its head. A game that was almost completely void of any glitches quickly became one of the most broken in the franchise. This is the story of the Mario Kart Double Dash Shortcut Revolution. First off, what is a shortcut? Well, to count as an official shortcut in the Mario Kart time trial community, it not only has to save time, but also be unintended by the developers. For instance, the jump at the start of Yoshi Circuit doesn't count as a shortcut, since it was intentionally built into the course. Double Dash came out in November 2003. We don't know who discovered it, and it's unknown exactly when it was found, but by the end of 2003, a shortcut had been discovered. And for the next 15 years, it would remain the only shortcut in the game. This is Waluigi Stadium. About 2/3 of the way through a lap, you can drive off this slope and hit into the fence with enough speed to get thrown into the air. If you make it high enough, Lakitu thinks you fell off from this bridge, which is right before the finish line, so he picks you up and places you down there. It saves just under 2 seconds per lap and can be performed on all 3 laps. While it's unclear exactly when this trick was discovered, it's known to have existed within a month and a half of the game's release. And quickly, there was discussion on the Double Dash forums over whether or not shortcut times should be put on the website. Ultimately, the community decided that since the shortcut was one of a kind, it wouldn't be tracked on the website. So, the player's page contained a space for non-shortcut records on every track, but nothing for Waluigi Stadium shortcut. Still, some players chose to drive shortcut races anyway. Records began to be set in December 2003, but video proof was much less strict back then, even more so for an unofficial category not on the main website. However, one
They didn't
3-lap
need
video
video
from
proof?
back then still exists. A run from 2004 by Ipusen.
It's like, oh yeah, I got this record. Do you have proof? No, but you can trust me.
2004, all right.
Oh,
The
damn.
biggest strategy used was executing frequent mini turbos. By starting a drift with R, moving the stick in the opposite direction and back to neutral twice, and then releasing R, you get a short boost of speed. Mini turbos are key to getting fast times, and Ipusen performed them constantly through his 3 laps. He also did the shortcut on the right slope instead of the left, which was slower but likely a bit easier. The biggest driving technique discovered was A-Tech, first seen in runs from 2004 but expanded upon by JSX in February 2006. If you release accelerate between mini-turbos, the kart sways back and forth less, saving fractions of a second as you're able to take straighter lines and more direct paths forward. Thanks to that and other small driving optimizations, the record still sees competition to this day, with the most recent world records being set in late June 2022. But it all started back in 2003. Double Dash was brand new. There was reason to believe that this shortcut was just the beginning, and that in a few short years, there would be skips all over. That's how it went for previous games in the franchise, and that appeared to be happening in Double Dash just the same. But instead, this game's history took a different path. Years passed.
Not me
still
sitting
no
here
new
waiting for
shortcuts.
Porygon to spawn.
The game's time trial scene grew bigger and bigger, and by the mid-2000s it was vibrant, with top players from all over the world. But other than the occasional Waluigi Stadium race, the competition was exclusively non-shortcut. The focus was on optimizing every last millisecond from the 16 courses, improving lines, performing more mini-turbos, and implementing A-Tech. By 2008, Mario Kart Wii was released, and within months, that game had massive ultra shortcuts breaking its tracks.
Yeah.
Mario Kart Double Dash, several years older, still had just one shortcut. The years continued to pass.
It only had one even
and
then?
suddenly, 5 years turned into 10.
Good
Still,
lord, they made
there was
the game
nothing
good, I guess.
Mario Kart Double Dash was an unbreakable game, and that's all there was
Yeah.
to it. In over a decade of searching, absolutely nothing had been found. Well, okay, there was one thing.
Oh? Oh, out of bounds. Yeah, okay.
In Mario Kart Double Dash, courses are surrounded by invisible planes that are nicknamed Lakitu zones. When you fall off a track and collide with one of these zones, that's Lakitu's cue to pick you up and drop you back on the track. But this system isn't perfect. Suppose you fall off and manage to not hit a Lakitu zone. What happens? Well, in that case, you've officially made it out of bounds, and Lakitu still picks you up, but he sets you back somewhere a bit different.
Oh?
No matter where you go out of bounds, Lakitu sets you just behind the finish line.
Oh!
Since you never hit a Lakitu zone, the game doesn't know where to put you, and sets you down right at the end of the course. Unfortunately, crossing the finish line doesn't count a lap, but at the very least this did provide some intrigue. If players could somehow figure out a way to get a lap to count, warping straight to the finish line would save massive time. Out-of-bounds mechanics were discovered shortly after the game's release, but for many years it wasn't paid much attention. Despite its promising nature, the simple fact was that without getting the lap to count, it wasn't really a useful trick. But still, for the next 15 years, players wondered if maybe there was something that could be done with it. Some way that the lap could count and have a shortcut be discovered. And then 2018 came around. The champion of Mario Kart Double Dash at that point was named Goomba, and in August, he saw this random guy's video on Mario Kart Wii. And in it, he saw that game's community figure out the checkpoint system and use it to break courses and create massive shortcuts. Meanwhile, in 15 years of Double Dash, its checkpoint system had yet to be solved. But was it possible? Could a lap count when most of the driving is skipped? Well, Goomba finally decided enough was enough. He began a deep dive into the inner workings of the game, attempting to figure out exactly what conditions had to be met for a lap to count. And over the course of several months, with the contributions of community members like Lothjohn and Tarsa, Mario Kart Double Dash's code was cracked. There are 3 conditions that must be met for a lap to count in Mario Kart Double Dash. Condition 1. You must start the lap in checkpoint 0, the first checkpoint on the map. Each course in the game is broken up into invisible checkpoints, which are used to help keep track of how far you've driven.
Can he start
This
being not
condition
in
is pretty
checkpoint 0?
straightforward. For a new lap to start, you must be touching the first checkpoint of the course. Condition 2. You must have credit for driving through every checkpoint. Checkpoint bit counters in the game keep track of whether or not you've touched any given checkpoint during a lap. If you haven't, it's set to 0, and if you have, it's set to 1. In order for a lap to count, every checkpoint must have a bit counter set to 1, which would intuitively mean that you're not allowed to skip driving through any checkpoints. However, on Waluigi Stadium, you skip several when performing the shortcut. Why does the lap still count? Well, that's because there's a workaround. If you hit a Lakitu zone and get picked up, you automatically get credit for every checkpoint between where you got picked up and where you were placed down. It's known as a lack hop, and is the only way around having to touch every single checkpoint. And finally, condition 3. Your race completion must be greater than your number of laps completed. Double Dash has an internal counter called race completion that starts at 0 and gradually increases as you drive around the course. Once you complete a lap, it hits 1 and then continues counting up again. The reason this matters is because of a failsafe developers put into the game, the 50% rule. If your race completion ever jumps up by 50% or more, it rounds down and you lose credit for all you've driven through the lap. So if you go out of bounds 30% of the way through a track, then are warped to the finish line, your race completion is set to just below 0. Since this is less than the 0 laps that you've completed, you won't get credit for a lap.
Oh, hey.
Together, these 3 rules were designed to prevent any shortcuts from existing in Mario Kart Double Dash. And for 15 years, they worked nearly flawlessly. Goomba hadn't figured this all out by late 2018, but he had a general understanding of how it worked. Now, he had to put it all together somewhere, and the course he looked at was Mushroom Bridge. He had to not only get credit for driving through all the checkpoints, but also avoid cutting out more than 50% of the course at a time. It was gonna have to be a 2-step process. To get checkpoint credits, he took the lack hop mechanic to the next level. By going on the grass just before the finish line, you can use a mushroom and release brake at the last moment to fly forward and hit a Lakitu zone. This zone is in front of the finish line, but because of where you hopped off, you're put back just before the finish line. And since you get credit for all checkpoints between where you're picked up and where you're set down, you get credit for every checkpoint on the course. That was step 1. The next step was to get race completion for the lap to count. Together with Lothjon, Goomba took a look at the bridge right before the start. By precisely jumping off at about 87% completion, you can hit the wall on the other side at about 37%.
Easy.
This is a decrease of only 50%, so it's valid as far as the game is concerned. You then respawn at 85%, once again less than 50%, and have therefore earned race completion for an entire lap. So, it was possible to do a lack hop to get checkpoints, then turn around and quickly do a bridge hop to get race completion. That satisfies both conditions 2 and 3, so if you drive over the finish line to enter the first checkpoint box, a lap counts. On September 15th, 2018, Double Dash's first shortcut in 15 years was born.
Hey.
Goomba's first 3-lap record with video clocked in at 115.639, about 2.5 seconds ahead of the non-shortcut record. He drove the first lap normally, then performed a shortcut on lap 2, and finished with a normal lap 3. Doing the shortcut more than once per race wasn't possible, as you needed a mushroom for the lack hop, and your mushrooms are taken away when picked up by Lakitu. Over the following few days, Goomba and a runner named J98 would trade the record down to a 1:14, each time doing the shortcut once and driving 2 laps normally. However, Goomba then figured out it was possible to do the lack hop without a mushroom. By going on the pillar next to the bridge, you have sufficient height that you can bounce off the ground and make it far enough without using a mushroom. This not only was faster than the old method, but also meant that, theoretically, the shortcut could now be done more than once in a race. However, doing the bridge jump once was hard enough. Doing it twice in a row seemed nearly out of the question. Later in September, J98 and Goomba each did more mushroom bridge attempts, lowering the record to
Made me
111.
jump a little bit there.
But still, nobody was able to get the shortcut more than once in a race. Players focused their efforts elsewhere, and the task of hitting 2 shortcuts was just too daunting. For over a year, that's where the record stood. But in March 2020, someone began playing Mushroom Bridge Shortcut. Only this time, it wasn't Goomba or J98. It was a relative newcomer to the game, one who is ranked outside of the top 40, but he was ready to try and take down a world record. His name was Mathy. Mathy didn't have the driving skills of a world champion like Goomba. That meant that without anything new, his 111 was going to be awfully tough to beat. But he had one other option. He could go for 2 shortcuts in the same race. It had never successfully been pulled off before, but even with worse driving, it could be enough to beat Goomba. Mathy got to work grinding attempts, getting as good as he could at the bridge hop and lack hop. And on March 2nd, 2020, he had this attempt.
Far away, far into the mountain, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, it worked. That's fine. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Alright, don't freaking lose this. Oh my god! There! It's so bad! But that's it. That's it. Sub 111. Let's go.
A new record by less than a 1/10 of a second. Not to be outdone, world champion Goomba came back, and over the next few days, the two of them traded world records. However, over the next several months, Mathy would pull ahead, as he was able to line up faster for the lack hop and improved his driving around the course.
Yeah, let's fucking go, dude. 107, 325.
So now, a 1 out of 3 shortcut run had been optimized, a 2 out of 3 shortcut run had been optimized. There was only one thing left to do. Hit the shortcut
God, doing a
on
3 out of
all
3?
3 laps.
Oh, Jesus.
A 3 out of 3 run was originally thought to be slower, since you could quickly line up for a lack hop after driving a lap normally. However, in February 2022, Mathy tested with save states and confirmed that, if performed optimally enough, a 3 out of 3 shortcut run would indeed save time. But actually hitting it was another story. Mathy had gotten quite good at executing the lack hop and bridge hop over the years, but he would need to do 3 of each in a row. That's 6 consecutive difficult tricks. It could take a while to grind this out. But just 4 days later, Mathy got himself on this run.
Go. Let's go. This definitely works.
Alright, head to the Pokemon Center, heal up.
Poggiest Pog. Let's go. Here we go. Please! Oh, come on! Ah, 104!
He was a bit upset because he wanted a 103, not a 104. But history had still been made. This 104.363, the world's first 3 out of 3 run, is still the record today.
Damn.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. As far as shortcut discoveries are concerned, we're still in 2018. And at this point, the only time trial shortcuts in the game were Waluigi Stadium from 2003 and Mushroom Bridge from 2018. But just a month later, thanks to a better understanding of how checkpoints worked, Double Dash's third time trial shortcut would be discovered. Welcome to Bowser's Castle. Bowser's Castle was quickly singled out as a prime candidate for a shortcut. The reason why is because of the balcony. About 40% of the way through a lap on Bowser's Castle, you drive on a balcony directly adjacent to the finish line. Drive to 60%, and you're higher up on the same balcony. It seemed natural that with so many regions being so close together, you could somehow get credit for being further in the lap than you really were. But for a while, it didn't seem to be possible. However, after Mushroom Bridge's discovery, Lothjon and Goomba looked into Bowser's Castle, and thanks to exploiting a specific game mechanic, they figured out how to use the balcony to their advantage. This is the A-Tech Hop. As mentioned before, A-Tech is when you release the A button between mini-turbos to keep a straighter line. However, there's a side effect of A-Tech. Your kart's nose gets slightly lifted in the air. If you do a mini-turbo with A-Tech, then perform a sharp turn after releasing A, and then press R and A while your nose is pointed up, your kart hops into the air. It's called an A-Tech hop, and is the only way to hop in Mario Kart Double Dash. So, after driving half a lap normally, you arrive at the balcony. By performing an A-Tech hop in a precise spot off the ledge, your race completion goes from 40% to 60% as you hit the upper balcony checkpoints, to 99% as you hit the finish line checkpoints, and back to 40% as you respawn. It never jumps up by more than 50% at a time, so your race progression increases by a full lap, and you get checkpoint credits upon respawning. This trick would go on to be nicknamed the flop. For laps 2 and 3, you can flop off the ledge, then lack hop to get checkpoint credits for the full lap, and complete the race having driven hardly any of it. So, Goomba got to work, and managed to hit the shortcut after a few tries on October 10th, 2018. A 2:09 run, ahead of the non-shortcut record by 7 seconds. Over the following few days, he'd cut down on the number of tries needed to hit it, taking the time down to 1:26. But on the 14th, Goomba would hit the first ever 3 out of 3, a run with 3 flops and 3 lack hops, and a final time of 1:06.
Yes, dude!
Oh my god.
The winner, Tenko.
A month later, a runner named Rickbick would be the first to cut out a lack hop by hitting the proper checkpoints on the flop. That lowered the record to just over a minute. But just 5 days later, Goomba would return to not only take the record back, but take it under a minute. Mario Kart Double Dash's first ever sub-minute world record.
Yes, dude. Oh my god, 59.
And then, 3 years would pass. Goomba chose to play other courses in the game, and most other runners had little interest in shortcuts or just couldn't compete with him. But then Mathy came along. At first, he struggled to set any records on Bowser's Castle, but in September 2021, he finally came through with a 58-second run. But what Mathy would do just 4 weeks later was far more impressive. He would discover another shortcut, known today simply as the Big Bounce. And this is why. The Big Bounce is essentially a larger version of the A-Tech hop. Instead of angling your cart's nose up with ATEC, you want to very precisely maneuver your cart along the edge. By then rotating around, your nose is pointed up much higher than it would be from ATEC. You can then use a mushroom and do a more extreme version of the ATEC hop called the extreme hop. By using another mushroom when you land, you perform what's called a shroom bounce and get even more air, enough to hit the Lakitu zone and respawn on the balcony. This saves close to 10 seconds if performed optimally, but adds another layer of difficulty. Still, it didn't take long before Matthew was able to hit it in a run, and lower the record by another 6 seconds.
Yeah! Oh, let's go! Nice job, dude.
Goomba didn't take long to respond, taking another 2 seconds off mostly via a faster big bounce at the start. That's where the record stood for about 6 months. But in April 2022, Matthew would come back once more, and finished off a 49-second world record with one of the most sarcastic celebrations in speedrunning history.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Matthew's 49-second run stands as the record today. Bowser's Castle has had dramatic record cuts over the years, but without new strategies, it shouldn't go very much lower. After Bowser's Castle, it wasn't obvious which course would be next. There were several that had potential, although nothing that could quite be put together. One day in October 2018, Goomba was streaming on Twitch and wanted to demonstrate some shortcut theory for his viewers. So, he loaded up Mushroom City. Goomba showed his chat that if you could somehow hit this Lakitu zone from the bottom, the game would set you back on top and you'd skip a good chunk of the course. However, he had tested this before, and the lap didn't count when driving over the finish line. So, he drove forward to show his viewers how a lap wasn't counted.
What? What? But that's not supposed to work.
Goomba had no idea what had happened, but he quickly figured it out. This part of the course contains both checkpoint boxes 24 and 25. They extend infinitely upwards. If you touch the Lakitu zone in box 25, you never actually leave this box when you respawn, so neither race completion nor the checkpoint bit counter gets updated. If you touch it in box 24, on the other hand, you respawn outside of it, so the lap counts as it does on other courses. So that was figured out in October 2018, but this was all just a proof of concept. Goomba had no method of actually touching the Lakitu zone from below. He did it before with a moonjump code. So, it remained on the shelf for the next 2.5 years. But in March 2021, Matthew solved it again. His method was quite similar to the big bounce on Bowser's Castle. You angle your nose up on a slope, then do an extreme hop, and do a shroom bounce to get enormous height and touch the Lakitu zone. As long as you do so in checkpoint 24, the lap counts. And just like that, the Mushroom City shortcut was born. Matthew was the first to set a 3-lap record on Mushroom City, just hours after the shortcut was discovered. This was quite a difficult trick to hit, and he still needed to drive well enough after for it to be faster than the non-shortcut record. But he did.
Oh, yeah, 133.369, let's fucking go.
Fuck? Goomba began doing attempts too, and thanks to a particularly fast shortcut hit, he beat Matthew and set the record.
Yes!
Over the following few weeks, the two of them would once again get into a world record battle. Matthew came up with a slightly faster way to do the shortcut from the front, and thanks to that, plus improved driving afterwards, the record came under a minute 30. But the biggest improvement would be discovered that September, when Matthew found that the shroom bounce wasn't needed. If you got your nose in the air enough and did an extreme hop, it was possible to reach the Lakitu zone without using a mushroom. Now, that technically opened the possibility of doing the shortcut more than once in a race, but it was an extremely difficult trick, tougher than any other shortcut in the game. Many months passed, and the record remained with just one shortcut out of 3. Doing it more than that was just too big of an ask. And then, on June 3rd, 2022, Matthew did this.
Oh, come on. Oh my god, dude. You're in a world record video. I just did the first 2 for 3 Mushroom City glitch.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I just have to not shit the bed lap 3 now.
He had done it again. The world's first 2 out of 3 shortcut hit on Mushroom City. To this day, it hasn't been replicated. Will a 3 out of 3 ever be done? Maybe one day, but keep in mind how long 2 out of 3 took. For now, a 120.634 is where the record stands. But these 3-lap runs aren't the only types of world records set in Mario Kart Double Dash. The game keeps track of not only your fastest 3-lap race, but also your fastest individual lap on any given course. On the Double Dash players page, this is called doing a fast lap, or flap for short. So that means it's possible to go to Bowser's Castle and do a flop on your flap. I just wanted to say that. But anyway, flap world records are tracked right alongside 3-lap records and carry a similar level of prestige. But in 2021, a pair of shortcuts would be found that were slower for a 3-lap record, but would save time over a flap record. They would become the game's first flap-only shortcuts. First up, discovered in March 2021, we have Luigi Circuit. The shortcut on Luigi Circuit is one of the most clever in the game. Step 1 is to drive most of a lap normally. Then, before getting credit for the lap, you turn around and go back out to the front of the course. By doing an A-Tech hop, it's possible to get on this ledge right in front of the finish line. You then maneuver right next to this zipper, and let's go over the 3 conditions for a lap to count again. Your checkpoints and race completion are met by driving around the course, which you already did. But the first condition says you have to touch checkpoint 0. This is normally done by just crossing the finish line, but it can also be done by touching it from the other side. So, when you touch the zipper, you enter checkpoint 0 and start the lap with about a 1-second head start. The resulting time save means that you can have an individual lap slightly faster than what you normally get. Beyond this, the only optimization is how well you drive the subsequent lap. Since Matthew discovered the A-Tech hop in March 2021, he and Goomba have alternated who drove better, trading the record back and forth several times. And at the moment, Goomba holds the record with a 23.390.
A shiny Porygon would be fun.
Shortcut is a little different. Instead of a
that's what I'm hoping
23-second
for.
lap, we're talking more like 6 or 7 seconds. And this time, we're headed out to the desert. Dry Dry Desert had a lack hop that had been known about for years. If you drive away from the road and cross the finish line as you get picked up by Lakitu, you'll be dropped down behind the finish line with all your checkpoints updated. Unfortunately, this wasn't helpful unless you could somehow gain race completion along with it. And for years, there was no way to do that. However, all the way back in 2003, a player named Scott R did this on Dino Dino Jungle. When a floor is sloped enough in Double Dash, and you drive into it with enough speed while your cart is sideways, it's possible to clip through it. You need to get a bit lucky with your kart's positioning, so it's on one side of the floor one frame and the other side the next. But the key is finding a floor sloped just the right way. It needs to be at the perfect angle so you can actually clip through it, sort of like this downed pillar on Dry Desert. This particular clip was discovered by Matthew, and since you land out of bounds, you get warped straight to the finish line. So you can drive part of a lap, go out of bounds, then drive around again to stack your race completion higher. By then doing a lack hop to finish the lap, you get your checkpoints instantly to start lap 2, and upon crossing the finish line, you have yourself an incredibly short lap. Optimizations have been slim over the years, with just a fraction of a second being shaved off at a time. Matthew and Goomba set most of the records, but famed Super Circuit runner Rusty set a few records too. This actually isn't the fastest flap record in the game, as both Mushroom Bridge and Bowser's Castle have records in the 4-second range. The current record here is 6.437 seconds by Matthew, and it seems that it can only go down by a couple hundredths of a second at most. The key is getting a frame-perfect lap entry, combined with a small bounce when being dropped by Lakitu. But regardless, this record shouldn't be going much lower. That makes it 2 flap-only shortcuts, and 4 that can be done on 3 lap runs. Over the years, many have tried their hand at these shortcuts. Some courses have a leaderboard of a few names, while older ones like Waluigi Stadium have dozens. But there's still one more shortcut to talk about.
It's a fun color.
To this day, only one person has ever pulled it off fast enough. The player was Matthew, and the course was Wario Coliseum. Wario Coliseum is a unique course. For one thing, it's the only course in the game where you drive just 2 laps for the race to be complete. But it's also got many places you can launch yourself off the road, which gave it huge potential for a shortcut. Throughout 2021, out of bounds and lack hop combinations were theorized, yet nothing came to fruition. But one night in June 2021, Goomba and Matthew hopped on a call and decided to look together. And over the next 24 hours, the Wario Coliseum shortcut was born. First, you drive to around 40% race completion. Then, you fly off the edge of the road, and by using a mushroom to pull your cart down, you avoid touching any other checkpoints and land out of bounds. However, when respawning behind the finish line, the game actually thinks you're on the track below at 55%, so the 50% rule is satisfied. You then drive backwards, do a lack hop to get all checkpoints between where you jumped off and where you went out of bounds, and when you drive forward, a lap counts. Now, is all this faster than just driving the lap normally? It actually is, but just barely. Only one person has been able to execute it fast enough to save time over a non-shortcut run, Matthew. On June 6th, 2021, he did it for the first time, getting a 156.190 that beat the non-shortcut record by 1/100th of a second.
Yes, finally! 156.190.
Let's go.
He'd follow this up 4 months later with a 155.735, and then a 155.437 in March 2022. And to this day, those are the only 3 records that have ever been set on Wario Coliseum. Waluigi Stadium, Mushroom Bridge, Bowser's Castle, Mushroom City, Luigi Circuit, Dry Desert, and Wario Coliseum. Those are the 7 courses that have been broken by players of Mario Kart Double Dash. There exists an 8th shortcut on Dino Jungle that hasn't been hit fast enough yet. It's similar to Luigi Circuit, where you start a lap from the other end of checkpoint 0. A few years ago, Waluigi Stadium was alone. Now, half the courses in the game have a shortcut. Double Dash is going to be played for generations to come, and right now, we're just in a snapshot of its history. But if its past is any indication, players aren't yet done breaking its courses and finding shortcuts. 8 courses have yet to fall victim to a shortcut, but it seems that their days are numbered. More courses will be broken. The only questions are when will it happen, and who will be the ones to do it. Thanks for watching.
All right. Whew. I personally think that's probably about it for today. Let me get myself ready and rested up for the day I have ahead. Which means that I really can't be staying on here much longer. Oh, damn. Found a shiny Absol plush. That's cool. Alright. Yeah, but in any case, that will be all from me. I had a fun little time just chilling out, watching videos, playing Cobblemon. I see the coffin there. He's chilling. But in any case, that will be all. Goodbye. Have a good day / night / whatever the hell. I don't know. And with that, I'm heading out. Goodbye.